Hello, kiddies. I'm the Network Censor, and I just want to assure our younger listeners out there that this is a family program, and there will be no mention of certain bodily fluids unless it's extremely relevant and very funny. Be assured that the participants in this program have been advised that they may lose their broadcasting privileges if there is any mention whatsoever of fat nuts, slick butts, or, and I quote from the Chief Censor's very angry memorandum regarding the previous episode, any mention of lumpy cum. With that said, please enjoy the following family-friendly podcast about creepy shopkeeper, green mask, or the theme song from Guile's stage. With that said, please enjoy... Excuse me, I'm getting a call. Hello, Janine with Standards and Practices. Oh, hi, David. Meet you for lunch? All right, I'm coming!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to You Can't Scare Me. It's another episode. How you doing, Mario?
I'm doing great. I was listening to Guile's theme earlier, and I was just thinking about how great it goes with everything, including me saying my catchphrase, it's me, Mario, the cool ghoul who's everybody's pal.
Hey, there it is.
I did it. My brain was elsewhere, but I made it. I got it together, you know?
Also, I'm just going to we got a lot of feedback, got a lot of emails from listeners. Didn't use your other trademark phrase in the last episode. So.
No, here's the thing. I was thinking about it while reading this book. I think this book earns it. So we'll get there. We'll get there.
We will. Brandon, how you doing?
Not too bad. I'm channeling Guile right now. Sonic Boom.
Oh, I can...
Flash kick.
Oh, hair.
Go home and be a family man.
Obviously, you can't see me because this is a podcast, but my hair is Guile's hair right now. It's flat on top. I have a cup balanced on it.
And you wouldn't know this about Brandon, but he is often a family man, so...
You know, if I were to go as someone for Halloween, I would try to find a Guile mask, and maybe it would turn me into Guile. Hey, everybody, it's episode 11, and we're doing book 11, and it's the fucking haunted mask. I am so fucking ready. Y'all, when I thought about doing this podcast initially, it was the only episode I could think of in my head was the Haunted Mask episode. This is it. This is what we have building toward for what, a year and a half?
Yeah, at least. Again, time has lost all meaning to me.
Yeah.
But I think that, yes. Down in the crypt, you see, there is no way to judge the passage of time. So
y'all, let's just start out with it. Good book. Won't give away my rating, but shockingly surprised.
As I spoke to you, Bob,
yes.
about, I think this book is, I'll just go ahead and get it out of the way. I think that our ability to be funny is going to be somewhat limited by the fact that this book is actually a good book.
Yeah, I was having trouble writing the recaps because, like, normally with these things, it's kind of like a little sarcastic. We're kind of like funny, like kind of poking fun at it. Because it's just like goofy. I was actually struggling writing the recaps because it was just like it's just good. Like there's not really anything too like ridiculous that happens. There are a couple little things, but like no, it's just a good book. And yeah, I hope y'all are entertained by our recaps. But like I think we've done funnier ones in the past. I personally have done funnier ones in the past, but yeah.
It's a solid bump.
Yeah, it's a solid bump. I do think that, conversely, because it is a good book, it is, unlike other Goosebumps books, open to actual criticism.
Oh, I thought you were going to say interpretation.
Well, I mean, I think that this is a book you can read and think about and like... And dig into a little bit
in a way that I don't think any other Goosebumps book has done. Like maybe
I agree with that.
The Welcome to Dead House, maybe, but it's really in a league of its own. And even R.L. Stine knows this. Did you know that this is R.L. Stine's favorite Goosebumps book?
I don't doubt that at all. that would track.
That's unsurprising, yeah.
He also said that this is the one Goosebumps book where he could actually see it being turned into a real movie. Like if he expressed interest in having The Haunted Mask and The Haunted Mask 2 being combined and turned into a movie. He would love to see a film adaptation of that. Apparently, it's the only one that he thinks that of. So there you go.
I mean, I think that probably most humans living on Earth who have read any Goosebumps book would share the same opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of another Goosebumps book that could do it. That's not to like throw shade at the actual Goosebumps movie, which I think is perfectly serviceable and fine. But it's not really trying to be its own Goosebumps book per se. It's trying to be a Goosebumps movie for kids who are now adults who have familiarity with Goosebumps. And so it's playing to all of the history of that. But that's a topic for another podcast. Usually we start this podcast with sections, and I think Mario, I think it's time for a history lesson.
Oh, yeah. Hey, okay. Well, let's talk about history, specifically the history as pertains to the films, TV, and video games that came out in the month, this and year, this book, Haunted Mask, was released. And that month and year was September of 1993, which, by the way, I think that R.L. Stine, if he planned it this way or not, I don't know. But boy, howdy, did he make the right choice in releasing The Haunted Mask when he did in the order of Goosebumps books. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know if he had these written and submitted them to Scholastics in bulk, and they arranged it, or if he had them plotted out this way, because releasing your Haunted Mask Halloween book in September, good idea, RL. You really nailed it on that one. Because you're like coming into the Scholastic Book Fair time.
Yeah. Everyone's fresh off of Halloween.
Well, they're going into Halloween.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not. For some reason,
fresh
I thought
summer.
Halloween was before. Anyway.
No, Bob, it's actually in October. Would you believe it? Usually, Halloween is October 31st.
Look, as we established, time
has no meaning.
It has no meaning, and months don't either. So.
Mm-mm. So the movies of September 1993. This is a sad list. So here's the only ones I could find that mattered, and two of them matter more than others.
Okay.
The Joy Luck Club.
Never saw it.
I haven't seen it either. I just know that people talk about it. True Romance. That's the one Tarantino wrote that, I believe. Didn't direct it. No, I could be wrong about that. I could be confusing films. Oh man.
Look it up. Google.
True Romance was written by Quentin Tarantino. Yes. Okay. Whew. Okay. Yes. Now here's an important one. All right. Forget that last one.
Mm-hmm.
Brave Little Toaster.
Oh my God. Floods, just memories just flooding back to me. Holy shit.
Yeah. You want to talk about traumatizing children's entertainment?
Oh my God. That wrecked me as a kid.
Like, woohoo.
Every time I can just, the lamp, I forget the lamp's name.
Lampy.
Was it just Lampy?
It probably was.
Hold on, I'm gonna Brave Little Toaster, Lampy. It's Lampy. I was gonna say Lampy, but who do you think, what do you think the name of the blanket character is?
It was definitely Blanky.
It's definitely Blanket.
Absolutely Blanky. There's a rat character in it. What's his name?
There's a rat character in it?
Yep.
Tim Stack.
Ratso.
Oh.
Yep.
Hey, Phil Hartman was the air conditioner.
Yeah.
He was?
Yeah. I remember that. Yep.
He also did The Hanging Lamp with doing an impression of Peter Lorre.
Oh, wow.
Oh man, so many memories.
The frightening, there are so many parts of that movie that are like really upsetting. It's a great film. I recommend it if you want to traumatize your child.
Yeah, there's a song in it where they go to a a junkyard where vehicles, which by the way talk and are sentient, are being crushed into cubes.
Yep.
And they're talking about their lives and about how it's all over. and it's like
Toy Story 3 before Toy Story 3 did.
It's like an upbeat rock song, musical kind of rock song, like a Grease song almost. And they're like, oh yeah, I was in the Indy 500.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting smashed because my life is over. Wow, there is my death.
I once ran the Indy 500. I must confess I'm impressed how I did it. I wonder how close that I came. Now I get a sinking sensation. I was the top of the line, out of sight, out of mind. So much for fortune and fame.
I'm definitely playing that. Yeah. No, like for some reason in this like time period, there were just a ton of movies that were specifically like, I don't know if they specifically tried to do this, but they were definitely traumatizing for children. Like this and The Secret of Nim.
Yes. Rockadoodle.
I was literally just thinking of Rockadoodle.
And Once Upon a Forest.
Yes. I'm glad that for a time we weren't afraid to make kids scared of innocuous things.
Mm-hmm. When did The Neverending Story come out?
1984.
Okay.
But I saw it in the 90s. So
yeah, that's another one that, oh man.
Oh, it scared the shit out of me.
Oh god, just
it scared the shit out of me.
And there's a certain character toward the end that just, nightmares. Hi.
The monster in Neverending Story is so fucking scary.
And the way the way it talks and its monologue. Oh, Jesus. It's so good.
Gamork is so scary.
Yes, Gamork, yes.
People who have no hopes are easy to control. And whoever has the control has the power.
But let's not rest on our laurels here because, Brandon, another movie came out in September 1983 that maybe you remember, maybe you've heard of. It's called Warlock, the Armageddon.
Yes.
Yes.
Our good friend, the recently deceased Julian
Sands.
Rest in peace.
Warlock Armageddon, for the kids at home, is a phenomenally good movie. The Warlock franchise gave us 2 great movies and 1 awful one, and I can't say they're exactly horror films. They're like horror adventure movies,
horror fantasy adventure films where Julian Sands plays the titular warlock.
Just look up literally any clips from it online. They're so wild.
They're very charming.
Apparently you can watch it for free on Amazon Prime and Vudu.
You should watch it for free immediately.
And Tubi.
You should watch it for free as soon as you possibly can. They are great. There's some parts in Warlock Armageddon where the CG is the wildest shit you'll ever see in your life.
I'm seeing a trailer. I'm looking at a trailer right now, and I'm seeing some stop motion effects and some real. Yeah, this is real ooze. This is real KY jelly. This is the CG. I haven't seen it, but everything else looks legit.
It's a great 2 great movies. Don't watch the third one. But you would never because he's not even in it. Anyway, Dazed and Confused also came out this year, but who fucking cares? Let's talk about TV because September 1983 is one of the most insane lineups of television I've ever seen. Please brace yourself for a list of things that were your entire life for a while. 2 Stupid Dogs.
2 stupid dogs! 2 stupid dogs! 2 stupid dogs!
Man.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes! Wait. Which one?
The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay.
Get you them fucking chili dogs. How about this one? The X-Files.
Oh,
Yep.
fuck.
Yup.
Lifelong fear of sitting on the toilet. There you go.
Mulder, Scully, will they or won't they? Well, they will, but you'll wish they hadn't. Anyway, Frasier.
Hey baby, I hear the blues are calling. Tossed salads and scrambled eggs. Quite stylish.
Wow.
Yeah, Frasier premiered in this month.
Frasier.
The Animaniacs.
It's time for Animaniacs.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow, you weren't fucking
I'm not even
around,
done
dude.
yet. I'm not even fucking done yet.
Wow.
The biker mice from Mars were here. Late Night with Conan O'Brien.
Oh, classic.
Rocco's Modern Life.
Rocco's Modern Life.
Oh, hey, there we go.
Walker Texas Ranger.
Okay.
Boy Meets World.
We're falling off a bit.
NYPD Blue, and the animated spin-off from Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Crypt Keeper.
Okay.
It may have been September, but this was the spring of media.
Games, it's a short list as it always is because the 90s, you didn't have a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
But you did have one thing
What?
if you owned a SNES, a Game Boy, or a Genesis, and that thing you had was Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat!
Yeah, that's right. It's the home release of Mortal Kombat, kids. Get angry, parents, because children are doing murders.
Oh my god, there's so much blood.
Or sweat.
Unless you're playing the SNES, in which case it's sweat. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Them sweaty boys.
Yeah.
Everybody, it was such a good game to teach kids that, the human body is actually full of many different spines and skulls than there actually are. It's very, very useful in that way.
As Mario knows, as a doctor, each human is gifted with 10 rib cages, 3 spines, and 15 femurs.
Listen, the number of times I'll just go on record here that I don't like Mortal Kombat as a franchise, although I played a lot of it as a kid. I played a lot of 1 and 2 as a kid.
Okay, if we're talking about 2D fighters, for me it was for some reason I grew up with Killer Instinct.
I also played a lot of Killer Instinct.
It was Killer Instinct, and then there was Primal Rage.
Yeah!
Primal Rage is so
Fuck
fucking
yeah,
good.
dude!
I'm doing
Let's
Devil
go.
Horns right now. I fucking
Let's
love Primal Rage.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, and Street Fighter 2, and that, that's basically. And Guilty Gear. I was huge into Guilty Gear and Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Of course. All great. All great.
But who wasn't? Who amongst us?
All great, but I ask you this.
Yes.
Or I posit this. Although I do not love Mortal Kombat, I have in my life referred to people being sub-zeroed in my job. So that, it is integral to the public conscience in this,
Yes.
we're all together in knowing that being sub-zeroed means having your spinal cord ripped out. So
Like all children, I played a good deal of Mortal Kombat, despite not, super liking it, including now. But my way of playing Mortal Kombat was the same as I assume most children, which was get the person down to finish him and then mash on that pad. Just hit every possible button, trying in vain to do a fatality and lamely punch them instead.
my experience was you pick Johnny Cage, you do his uppercut repeatedly until you hopefully win, and then you don't successfully execute any finishing moves, but sometimes the guy that babysits you is there, and he will show you how to do fatalities.
I'm going to enrage a subset of our audience, a cross-section between Goosebumps and Soul Calibur fans.
Okay.
Yes, I liken that to when your kid brother chooses Kilik and mashes the long-range fucking poke.
That or Janhua and the fucking her Y poke. Ugh.
Oh my god.
Necrid kind of looks like the Haunted Mask. I'm just gonna put it out there. I didn't listen.
I've got a
Don't
joke.
come at me with this one.
I've got a joke in my thing that I did not make the connection between these two properties until I was writing this, and now I cannot unsee the connection. It is like
They look very similar.
they are
Not saying-
extremely similar.
Todd McFarlane saw the Haunted Mask and said, I'm going to put that in Soul Calibur. Just saying, everyone's favorite Soul Calibur character, Necrid. I think we can all agree, top tier, number 1. Everyone loves him. Bring him back. And Bandai Namco, when's he coming back? Come on.
Yeah, come on.
You got Geralt in there. Now put in Necrid.
Yeah, bring Necro back. Yes.
Anyway, that's all of history. Close the book on history.
Closing the book on history.
This page is done. Now do earmark that page because we'll come back to it. We'll come back to it.
Unfortunately, time doesn't stop like after
I fucking wish it would.
after the podcast ends. But yes. So now our next section. Hey, Brandon.
Yeah.
I got a zip file from you that Windows said was a Trojan.
That's because it was.
Oh my God. And what am I infected with now?
I don't even know. I'm infected with it too.
Okay. Well,
Just pay it forward.
I actually do have an infectious organism to talk about in these covers, but we'll get there. So
wonderful.
Great news, everyone. Shall we talk about this incredible cover that has lived in everyone's brains for the past 20 years?
I am so goddamn ready.
No. Would it be 30 years?
30 years. Oh my God. Don't do that. I'm not. Fuck.
I've numbered them. We are talking about the good one last.
Oh, we're talking about the good one last?
What?
Yeah.
No, number one is.
Oh no! You're talking about you're talking about the Vietnamese one. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the original, the number one.
Yeah.
The
yes.
You know, the wizard.
The classic.
Tim
Jacobus.
The OG. The maybe the most the image that was put in the most places vis-a-vis this franchise.
Yep.
Yes.
You know it, we know it. So this is the US original. The 2-color scheme is an orange background with blue foreground and lettering. The illustration depicts a child standing in a purple void holding the titular mask in front of her own face. The mask is much larger than her head. It has shiny, greenish-yellow skin with pronounced demonic features like protruding ridges on the eyebrows and cheeks, long dripping fangs, and glowing orange eyes. It's a pretty cool cover, and the mask design is nice. This cover was, as we mentioned, featured in a load of promotional material due to the popularity of the story. It was also turned into an actual mask. There was a cutout mask, I think, in some of these.
I had that, yep.
I was actually looking at it today to see if I could buy it.
I had the actual mask as a child. It was cool.
Yeah.
You can buy the haunted mask.
Like the one, the replica from the show?
The show, yep.
Oh,
yep.
yes. I was looking that up. Yeah.
It's $60, and there's one left in stock. Guys,
$60. Buy it now. Buy it.
I'm buying it.
Impulse purchase.
I'm buying it. Everyone, you're listening to me buy this.
Consume. Oh man. Yeah. And so
Whoops.
there was another one. Another piece of trivia that I was looking up. Did you know that the girl in this cover, that is actually Tim Jacobus's, I believe it's his niece, Jessie.
Good on you, Jesse.
Who posed for the cover. Yeah. And on let's be real, this is when I think Goosebumps, this is probably the first one that I think of.
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of covers.
Yeah.
It also is it looks so good. The gradient background, the subtle sort of the color, the lighting, the way that the bloom kind of works on her hands. It's fantastic. It's really, really good. I love it. It's so good.
It's pretty simple. It's pretty sharp. It gets exactly what's going on here. The mask looks good. Yeah, it's a good cover.
Yeah, the mask, the green, it's not really, it's like a lime green. It really kind of punches forward from everything else in the shot. And the mask is drooling in this on the cover, which is a nice little touch.
It's easily one of the most striking it's so striking.
Yeah,
it's a stark image. There's so little else going on in it. There's no background. It's just girl mask in a purple void. It's just fucking works. It hits. It hits hard.
It hits really hard. And Brandon, I don't know if you were planning on talking about any of the toys that were associated with this, because I definitely wanted to mention the walkie-talkies that I had as a child.
Oh my God.
That featured both Curly and the haunted mask. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I will grab a picture of it right now. There you go.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
I had these. They were amazing.
They look like automatons.
Yeah. I don't know what those are.
I'll put a picture in the
Oh,
chat.
you know what have you seen going around the people who are singing Evanescence using them?
No.
Hang on. Let me.
What well, now we got several things have to happen here.
Now we have sidebar.
Sidebar, everyone.
Oh, yes. I know that. Yes.
They're a musical instrument with like it's a pitch. There's a ribbon sensor, and as you slide it up, the pitch increases as well. They're very hard to play.
Yes.
Post this right there. This is the thing that's been going around TikTok of late.
Yes, and I will play this.
It's so good.
I've seen these. They kind of look like a music note, like a music note where the ball, the sort of circle at the bottom of the note is a face and it sings. And so anyway, but yeah, that's all from me. I could talk about the toys forever, honestly. Like the Haunted Mask is like, it's so ubiquitous in Goosebumps merch. I had a watch. Yep, here it is. I found it. It was the Cool Watch Scary hologram. And it was just a hologram of, like, it had a little flip on the top of it that was a holographic version of the Haunted Mask, just the mask. And then you would flip it up and you would see, it was a really crappy watch, but the hologram was cool. Holograms were a big thing in the 80s, like a lot of 80s and 90s. A lot of stuff was holographic. But yeah, there are like cups with the Haunted Mask. There's like bookmarks, obviously. There's a cushion.
well, who wouldn't want to sit on the Haunted Mask?
That's true. Yes. But yeah,
do you dare?
Sitting is a scream.
If sitting could kill.
I banged my tooth on my can.
Sit and beware. This isn't a chair.
Fuck off. That was too good. You wrote that in advance, fucker. That's ridiculous.
The sound of your tooth on your mic sounded exactly like a cowbell.
Hold on.
So you might do that for comedic effect.
Ow.
Oh my god, yeah. Or a little bit like a pen on an aluminum can, I guess.
I can't keep doing that. It's making my teeth hurt.
Speaking of watches,
yes.
Novelty watches for children's properties were a thing in the 90s. I had the Pokemon Pikachu watch where the alarm was, and no one in my family will ever be able to forget, "Wake up! Gotta catch a Pokemon!" And he just kept repeating that very, very loudly, unbelievably loudly. And even I, who owned the watch, wanted to kill Ash Ketchum the moment I heard it. It's unbelievable. And the buttons were hard to press as well, so it was hard to turn off. It took, and remember, I owned this watch, and I was like a Pokemon freak. It took me 2 weeks before I took the battery out of the stupid thing. I hated it.
That reminds me of a couple things. First, there was a Jurassic Park toy where it was like sock and boppers, or not sock and boppers, the robot Rock'em Sock'em robots, where they turned them into instead of two robots, it was two velociraptors. And so they had little things at the end of them where you turn them and the raptors would like turn around and like really fast and like throw their legs out and their tail out to try and hit the other velociraptor. And if it hit like a button on their chest, it would like die. I think something would pop off. I think it was their head. But every time you turned it, it made like a like sound effect. And we had these in. We eventually got tired of them, and so we put them away in our closet. And after like a week, we kept hearing these weird sounds from our closet. And it turns out it was the raptors were they were slightly like, I don't know what was happening, but the electronics were done in such a way where every now and then you would just hear, we would be sleeping and you would just hear from the closet,
Amazing.
we got so scared one time that I finally just said, fuck this, and I went into the closet, I ripped it open and started throwing everything that was in there out, and finally I found what the fucking noise was, and it was that damn Rock'em Sock'em robot fucking velociraptor thing. And as soon as I grabbed it, it just went like
Some toy manufacturer with an amazing sense of humor was like, and then they have to keep like, they have to roar at least
once every hour.
Listen. It'll be very funny. Trust me. This is a good idea.
Look, and I know everybody was kind of worried about me being on the team after I got let go from GAC Incorporated for making all of the beach scented GAC and the baby powder scented GAC. But trust me, this will be great.
Speaking of great ideas that worked, can we talk about the classic Goosebumps cover for this book?
Do we have to?
Yes.
I think Brandon's prepared to.
It's okay as classic Goosebumps covers go.
Fucking sucks.
Brother, I don't agree.
It fucking sucks, dude.
I don't even know what the fucking vibe is here. Like,
it's
do you have a description?
I looked at the rest of the classic Goosebumps covers for the classic Goosebumps, and they're worse. But I mean, it's not good. It definitely isn't. I don't know. When you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, sometimes.
Do you have a description prepared for this?
Yeah.
Or shall? Okay.
This classic Goosebumps cover depicts two children dressed as a clown and a gangster with a very large head.
Yep.
Trick-or-treating at sunset. A masked child with glowing eyes is menacing them from behind. The angle is canted. The lighting is dark. The eyes are glowing on the mask. It has pointy teeth. The head is very large as well.
It's so big. Also, what's the attitude of the kids is so weird. They're not scared at all. It just looks like a child in a mask, which looks like the fucking Green Goblin, has crept up behind two kids who don't give a fuck about this.
Yep.
They're just like, can this fucking ghoul go away and let us live our life? Like, just like, don't look at it, don't talk about it, just keep walking, it'll go away.
Also, the amount of text on this cover is tremendous.
So much.
And this shitty font for the haunted mask.
Yeah.
All the fonts are bad.
It looks like a joke.
I usually am not like the person who will like comment on fonts and font choice and kerning and all that shit, like graphic design specifically with regard to like text. But this sucks. This is
gang.
Everything about. Also, is that Carly Beth? Like,
that's a great question because it looks like a male child. Yeah.
And like, where's Carly Beth's head? Like, we'll get to it when we talk about the story, but like, there's no head on a pike.
Also, the pose is the worst. The pose is like the generic creepy posture, right? Like hands raised, fingers out, right?
Yeah.
Like,
there are 6 different fonts on this one cover.
The only redeeming thing of this is that there is a other language version of it where Goosebumps has been replaced with the word panic. Which is like, of all the covers where you could put panic, like there's nothing even, it's just ugh. Anyway, moving on.
Now, can we talk about a surprising Dark Horse candidate for good covers? Because I have to tell you that I like what Jolly Old England is putting out this time.
Honestly, I'm kind of vibing with it. Yeah, it's kind of good.
The UK cover depicts once more a child drowning in some sort of bubular goo. The goo is blue this time.
Praise God!
For reasons we will not talk about.
Yes, for reasons we are contractually obligated not to talk about.
Y'all, we got
goo is
many.
blue.
We almost got our podcasting license taken away.
If this is what it looks like, you have a problem.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, go to a doctor.
You have a fun problem, but...
we can't keep talking about this.
We're not talking about it. We're not talking about it.
Yeah, we're not. Nope. Anyway, Brandon, what's up?
Yeah. So a head and a hand appear above the wave of goo. And this time, rather than looking nonplussed at drowning, this child is in a good mood, or rather, a masked child with, the hair of the head belongs to a child, but the mask is green and impish in its aspect. With a wide, frog-like mouth, befanged. The hand appears above the waves, and it is beckoning.
It looks like she's holding an invisible gun.
Yes. Yeah. It looks like, first of all, she's drowning in blue raspberry. Do you remember those, like, candies that would just be, like, liquid?
Yeah.
Or syrup? They would just inject, like, syrup directly into a tube, and you would just eat
that
sugar.
Was that Baby Bottle Pop? Or was that?
That's not the one I remember.
There were a number of things like it. Yeah. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember what they were called because
distinctly remember a yellow tube containing blue goo that you could just drink like an animal. Like just don't even bother putting in a shape. Just give me pure sugar, you monsters.
You absolute assholes.
Don't try too hard. But I do think leave it to the UK to give us maybe the most like goblin-y looking version of the haunted mask. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
this has like real fairy tale monster look to it.
Yeah. It definitely doesn't feel like a mask. It's
No.
That's one of the things that I like about this.
That's
it feels like
that's what it is. The fucking
Ooze tube.
Ooze tube. Yes,
oh,
that's
ooze
right.
tube.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Ooze tube. Yes. Yeah, I was thinking like baby bottle pop wasn't that. It had the sugar thing, but it was like the liquid came from you. It was your saliva. Don't read into that.
That was you goo.
The liquid
ooze
came
tube.
from you.
You goo.
That would be amazing. Put that on the brand. The slogan. The liquid comes from you.
Hello, kiddies. I'm the Network Censor.
No, fuck.
I feel
Oh god.
your podcasting license is mine.
No, fuck.
I'm
We have to stop
interrupting your
now.
podcast today that we've gotten a little too close to talking about bodily fluid.
We've flown a little bit too close to the sun, or as you all like to say, we need.
Anyway,
oh my God.
I think this is a good UK cover. The UK really gave us a great ghoul on this cover. I think.
Yes.
It's
the
not-
mask
it's not
looks really
iconic.
good.
It's not
Yeah, and
iconic, but it's good.
That's what I was gonna say. The mask really feels like in this cover that it's turning her into a creature.
Yeah. Yes.
and
yes,
that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, the mask, like where the hair meets the mask, it's like it's attached.
Yeah.
So which is in line with the story. It also just looks like pretty good.
Yeah. Moving on.
So this is there were several French covers. So the first one, and in my opinion the best one, is a straight-on shot of a child looking towards the viewer. The background is a wonderful colored pencil motif of a sunset skyline in a neighborhood with sharp black outlines for the houses visible. A jack-o'-lantern is half visible behind the main character. The figure's orange hair curls around the face of the mask. The mask has a bulbous, bald head, sunken eyes that are not glowing, flared nostrils in place of a nose, and an open mouth with short fangs. The skin is green, and this mask is more in the manner of a corpse head rather than demonic or frog, but it looks really good anyway. I think that this is a cool-looking cover.
Yeah, it's definitely got it's interesting.
I like this. Like,
Is this
I
the
think
most book accurate mask that we have?
I don't know.
It doesn't
I think
have glowing eyes.
Okay.
I
but-
think the original cover is pretty accurate to what.
Okay.
I mean, it's a little greener maybe than they actually describe it to be. The nose here is more book accurate, I think.
Yeah.
I like how dead it looks. Do you know? Like, I like how like haunted the mask appears. The haunted mask.
Yeah.
It's like a dead guy's face with a really bulbous head.
Yeah.
And I think also this looks like a mask you could actually wear. Like you
Yeah.
could make this mask.
You could, yeah. I think it like it also the fact that the mask does not appear to have like any emotion at all. You know, like most of the cover is depicted as like outwardly sinister, but this is so blank. It lends itself to her, like the feeling that she's like trapped behind it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really get the sense that she's trapped in this cover. I also think that just the general simplicity of it really works. I think this pops. This is a good cover.
Yeah.
Interestingly, it kind of emphasizes the lonely feeling that she must be feeling. I mean, yeah. We'll get to it, but yeah, no, this
It's
girl
bleak. It feels
kinda-
bleak.
Yeah, she goes through hell, and this sucks. And I feel like this cover more than all of the others, I think, evokes that sort of sense of isolation.
So the second French cover is, I would say, unbelievably goofy. Something that would keep a person from picking this book off a shelf. So we got a green monster face, but he's stretchy, like lycra a little bit, or rubber.
Mm-hmm.
It's pulled by the figure's hands. It has pimples, a scar, and an oozing wound. It has big yellow cat's eyes with red pupils and frizzy, very, very thin frizzy hair jetting out the sides. But the overall affect is extremely goofy, particularly the stretchy rubber part on the sides. I don't know how to describe it other than it's very, very goofy. And if you saw this book on a shelf, you would probably not pick it up.
Yeah, it's pretty bland.
Yeah, it's not good. I can't say I dislike the mask, but it's not good.
The one thing that I want to commend this cover for is that it's cool because the way that Carly Beth is pulling the mask, it's like it's kind of like she's either pulling it on or trying to pull it off, and you can't really tell.
Yeah.
Like she's trying to escape or put it on. And I like that. I like that aspect. But other than that, it looks fucking stupid.
Also, it looks like it's going on an adult woman.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a child's putting that mask. The necklace is really...
The necklace doesn't help.
Oh,
She has like
I
a
like
pearl
this
necklace.
next one.
Yeah, a little pearl necklace.
I like this next one.
This next one is cool. That's like kind of what's that what's the name of that artist, the comic? The one where it's like, oh my god, the monkey's got a gun.
Mike Mignola.
Yeah. Like this
Hellboy,
for me,
Hellboy.
That's what we're yeah. This screams Hellboy to me. Like that.
It's
that
got
kind
a
of
bit
style.
of that. Yeah.
I love the teeth. Just gonna say that.
The third French cover is again a front on shot of the mask, but this time it is pulled back away from the viewer in a scream. The mask is much more angular. There's glowing orange eyes, and the majority of what you can see is an open mouth with teeth that don't look quite human.
It takes
I'm
the
into
best
this.
element from the previous cover, and amps it up. Yeah, this is like really good.
It looks like the person putting the mask on is in agony. Like,
yeah, it's like
it looks like they are miserable.
Yeah, they're either pulling on an extremely like fucked up looking mask or trying to rip off the mask in like desperately. It's really nice. I like it a lot.
It looks a little bit like how they stylized Clayface in the Batman animated series.
Yeah.
Yep.
I dig that.
Yeah, it's a good cover. This was a better cover. The second one was really doofy.
Yes. I don't even know if there's a thing to say about this next one.
The Czech one.
I just wanted to say deceive Storky.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Oh my god.
Gashood.
The Danish cover for Gashood, Den Vorhekes de Mesken, is a picture of a screaming child on the right with the image of the mask, which is relatively faithful to the description of the mask, is just sort of blurring over her face.
They really like that smear technique.
That smear effect. Yeah.
But not in a good way.
Yeah.
This cover doesn't feel finished.
No.
Yeah, it feels unfinished. It's way zoomed in.
Yeah.
So that like half the mask is off the cover, but it's also not super unengaging for the cover of a children's book. This wouldn't be the worst thing to see on a shelf. It's not very successful though.
Yeah, no. The sketchy feel of it really just feels like someone was like, all right, here's my idea for the cover. And then they're like, oh yeah, okay, we'll go ahead and take that. And then they just took it and run with it. And it's like, wait, that was just the sketch. No. Anyway.
It's also her eyes should be like farther open. She needs to look more like she's shocked. But here again, this is a nonplussed child.
Yes. All these nonplussed children.
So we move on to the Dutch one.
Oh, the next one.
That's pretty cool. I like this
for
one.
Kippenville. The Dutch covers have been great.
They have been really good. Even if they've been like wildly not what's happening in the book, but
yeah. This one has maybe like I would say probably the most interesting composition of all of them in terms of like how it's framed. So we're at night. It's like a blue-green night with a full moon. It is there are trees in the background that are bare. There are two children who are horrified looking towards the viewer at a figure which occupies about a quarter of the space of the cover, whose back is turned towards us. So we see of this mask, we see the back of the head and a trench coat. One of the children looking at the masked creature is lit with blue, like horror movie lighting blue. You see the back of the mask's head is veiny and green, and there's pustules on it. There's stretched, wrinkled skin around the ears and cheek that you can see. He looks a little bit like Piccolo giving birth.
He does look like Piccolo.
It's Kami.
Yes, Kami. Yeah.
A little Piccolo.
Oh my god.
And while it is important for the mask for you to be able to see the front of it, I think that the illustrator was wisely thinking, I should let the story tell what the mask exactly looks like, but give you an idea of how horrifying it is, which I think is successful here. Also, I just like the composition in general.
It's definitely interesting and plays to like the unknowns. Like I like that, leaving certain details to the reader's imagination. I don't like how the kids their reactions are just kind of like,
Huh?
like what the guy. Also, I also think it's funny that the boy is kind of pushing. I'm assuming this is Sabrina.
I guess it'd have to be.
Yeah, pushing Sabrina forward.
I was thinking these were Chuck and Steve.
Yeah, so Steve or Chuck, yeah, someone. And he's pushing Sabrina forward like, you deal with it.
Your problem now. And one of them is getting haunted.
Anyway.
So the Indonesian cover has a certain classic font, which we will not talk about. Let's say Elmer's glue.
Yes.
And we have a very different looking monster whose skin is brown instead of green, or maybe brownish green, with big bushy eyebrows and brown hair, and big sharp teeth with what appears to be a giant spider descending from the chin. Yeah.
No.
Topeng Hantu. Nah, I like the style, but
yeah,
this doesn't really work for me as the cover of this book.
Yeah.
It's not communicating anything, really.
What is the spider? I don't understand why there's a giant spider below the chin.
Spiders are scary, so
it wasn't scary enough on its own. So they're like, what if we put a big bleeping spider? Right
I don't know what the spider's about. I have no idea.
Oh, there's like spider legs behind him. I can't tell what's going on.
Yeah, what's with the spider? I don't understand the spider motif. Anyway,
maybe it's a reflection of some changes they made to the localization.
Yeah.
So the next one is the Korean cover, which is amazing. So we've got like cool blue themes. There is a bemasked child. This is a very like a cartoony kind of illustraty, almost Edward Gorey kind of proportions and styling, but it is in color.
Yeah,
so
reminds me of The Night Before Christmas, kind of.
Yeah, like a character from Nightmare Before Christmas, because we have a bald white head with tiny little impish ears and no nose, just nostrils, an extremely wide ovular mouth with many sharp teeth. It does have like an almost Tim Burton-y kind of thing.
Yeah.
Glowing red eyes, and we have like kind of a child in a sort of like a frilly frocked dress, I guess. She's standing on a checkerboard floor, and there's a bunch of ghostly figures on the edges reaching towards her. This is a very cool cover.
Yeah, I like it. I like the focus on like the sort of grayscale stuff, and then having the one color kind of pop through, and then the yellow at the bottom kind of feels like an afterthought. But that honestly feels like more of a papery type thing. But anyway, it looks nice.
Let's talk about the best cover.
Yes,
yep. In my opinion, the best cover. So we've got the entire cover is basically covered by the titular mask in the Vietnamese cover. The face is like a cross between a clown and a catfish, maybe, and a human face. It has yellowish, whitish skin. The nose is red. It has purely red eyes with no sclera, which is to say there's only the color red. They're shiny. The mouth is open. Inside of the mouth, you can see a child with a mask running away from what appears to be running down a street lit from behind by the headlights of a car. It's a very strong image. We mentioned it at a previous episode.
Oh yeah, she is on a road.
Yeah, she's in the middle of the road.
I didn't notice that.
I love this mask, this rendition of the mask. I think it's extremely just like dope as hell. Spooky, weird, really weird. And I love her like man, this thing is great. This face reminds me of a picture from an electron microscope of an amoeba named Naglaria fowleri, which is a brain-eating amoeba, and it looks like this. That didn't work because this is a Google link. Well, I guess if you click it, it works.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it. Oh yeah, it is a little face. Aw, that's kind of cute. Too bad it eats your fucking brain.
Yep.
And I don't know if y'all have, if you know about what happens when you get a brain-eating amoeba. fucking yeah, no, don't look it up. That's terrible.
It's not great. It's bad.
No, very
bad. But
bad.
this is the one. This is the guy, and that mask reminds me of this little face, and I think that's great.
I think this cover does a better job than any of the other covers of communicating like kind of one of the themes or the main theme of this book, which is interesting that it has a theme. Like Goosebumps having themes is interesting. But the idea of a mask and what like the masks that we wear and how and what that constitutes. And I think that this communicates the feeling of being trapped in that mask.
I think the entrapment, you get that there. Yeah.
Like not only physically, but metaphorically, and like the whole, and not just the mask that she's putting on, but like sort of an overall concept of a mask. That's one of the reasons why I like the bigger mask that's around everything, because it's that mask really doesn't have anything to do with the mask in the book. This is kind of a weird combination of what I'm assuming is Carly Beth's face with the mask, which is fascinating to me. It's really neat. I like it.
Yep.
I like it a lot.
I'm into it.
It's a super sharp, well-composed image that depicts what happens in the story.
Yeah.
You like with the French cover, you do get this sense. Like the French cover depicts, like the first one depicts kind of the isolation of that character, but this one really has that like this mask is taking over her kind of feeling, and she's very small.
Yeah, even the way the way like it has like tendrils like reaching out to the edges of the cover, you know, like it works, man. It just works.
Yeah, and I love the idea of Carly Beth running deeper inside the darkness of the mask itself, kind of representing losing herself inside of that mask, with the searchlights kind of like, the people being on the outside, possibly her mother looking for her. It's really fascinating. It's really weird to be talking like this about a fucking Goosebumps book, but it honestly, like, it all works and it all comes together, and this is a great cover.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd take it over the Jacobus cover, but at the same time, I think that's just nostalgia.
I mean, on the one hand, I don't know that it would work without the Jacobus cover. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it would work as well if I didn't already have the Jacobus cover in my mind.
Yeah.
For it to be like playing off of. But I mean, I don't know. It's really good though. I'll tell you that.
It's exceptional.
Yeah. I think like when you're talking about just a straight up horror image, I think this is a really strong horror image because it gives you all of that just looking at it, and it's also the mask also just looks good and is horrifying, and you get that sense of this person's being taken over, like they're lost, they're running into the darkness. It's cool.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes.
And on that note, guess what it's time for, everybody? It's time for our chapter summaries.
Before we do, can I go to the bathroom?
Only if you keep your microphone going.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stop the recording.
Then write the time code.
Are we good with that?
I mean, I really want to hear you pee. But
No.
I'm not
Are we all
recording.
good with the concept of stopping the recording?
We want to stop
keep
the
mine
recording.
going.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
I could do it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Is there a better way to do this?
I mean, like, my recording can't hear anything that you guys are saying. My recording's only getting my mic. So unless you're pissing in my house.
You can also mute the mic.
That's true.
I just like to keep it going because when I stop it, it's like it increases the amount of like times I have to see.
Yeah. That's okay. Do I just click mute tracks?
Or you could go to the bathroom upstairs if you wanted to be double sure.
Oh, I guess I could do that. I can just leave recording and go to the bathroom upstairs. Yeah, I can do
could
that.
Shut the door too.
It's right next to the computer room.
Hey, he currently lives alone. He's a guy in his house. The door doesn't always have to close.
The door doesn't always have to close. I mean,
also, if we're just guys being dudes, I don't care. It's your peeing. It's fine.
All right. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom now. I am going to go to the bathroom in a room. What room it is will be a mystery to everyone.
Just gonna go into your living room and piss on your broken TV.
I'm gonna piss on my TV. Fuck off, ghost.
Who's frying chicken?
All right. Burb.
Yeah, burb.
Okay.
Yep.
The deed is done. I can now talk about a book.
Yeah. I think Brandon left.
Forever?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Oh my
I'm
God.
the Network Censor.
You're not
I'm
Brandon.
taking over for Brandon, who pissed too hard and is now tuckered out.
Okay. Let's go ahead and just jump right back into it. I'm looking at these ooze tube fucking things. And did you ever try one of these?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
never did.
Yeah.
Are they good?
I mean,
They don't look good.
They're sugar.
That's true. I guess it doesn't have to be good when you're a kid.
They were ubiquitous in a lot of places. I think they may even still sell them at Kroger. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a check. Amazon.com.
They're on Amazon. This image is from Amazon.
Yeah.
Ooze tube.
Ooze tube.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was just that, it just seemed a little artless, even to a kid. I was like,
It does feel artless, doesn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Sour Punch straws. Yes, do something with it. Don't just give me the liquid. I mean, you think about these things. As a kid, I was like, I bet you they're gonna leak out the cap, or they're gonna get on your pants, or like at least when it's in candy form, they had to do something to it. It's not just sugar water.
It's like flavor ice. It's like, you could just give me the syrup. You could just melt one and then drink it. But
I mean,
where's the fun in that?
It's $8.25 for a 3-pack.
That's ridiculous.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
What has happened to us as a society?
What is going on? What did they do to us? What did they do to us?
Storming the Capitol because of the fucking price of ooze too.
What have they done to us?
Alrighty. All right, everyone recording?
Yes.
Cool. All right, guess what time it is, y'all? It's time for chapter summary discussion. Mario, I believe you have the first batch of chapters for us.
I sure do have chapters 1 through 8, and I will now describe them.
Fantastic.
Using my human voice.
Not your mask voice?
Are you going to try mask voice?
Yeah, we all have to do a mask voice.
Okay, all right.
We absolutely have to.
Okay, wait, okay. So let's just try right now. What's a mask voice sound like to you? All right, I'll try to do one right now.
You go.
Well, hi guys.
Discord fucked that up so hard.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll try to get
I'm recording the Discord version, so I'm gonna play that in the podcast. I have no idea what the fuck you just said.
Okay, wait, okay. So let's just try right now. What's a mask voice sound like to you? All right, I'll try to do one right now.
You go.
Well, hi guys.
Discord fucked.
What? Well, hi.
Oh, okay, all right.
I mean, if we're going by Goosebumps rules, a mask voice is, I'm gonna talk like this. It's a little Batman-y.
It's Batman, yeah. It's straight up Batman, yeah.
I'm not wearing hockey pads. Anyway.
Brandon, what's your mask voice?
Hello, it is I, the haunted mask. Ooga booga.
She was
11
years old.
She was only 15.
You're only 11 years old.
Carly Beth is only 15 years old.
Bob, you got one? Oh my.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, you just turn into a bear.
Yeah.
No, for real though, it's Batman for me. It's like
it's Batman.
Hey Noah, fuck off.
A little dog with a cold is the screen accurate.
It's the TV version.
But
we'll get to that.
Oh God, what the fuck?
We'll get there. We talked about this extensively last night. We'll get there.
Yes.
Okay, chapter 1. Carly Beth, shockingly 11 years old, ponders what to be for Halloween. I know, right? Like, it's fucked up that she's not 12.
What?
It's fucked up. I literally, put the book down for a minute. I had to think. I was like, huh?
Just had to let it sink in. Just, oh my God. It's
Shockingly 11 years old, ponders what to be for Halloween with her friend Sabrina over some gross macaroni. The first part of this chapter is all macaroni moments. It's just a big... I just wrote down the side of the page until the macaroni conversation stopped. Macaroni moments. And we were just in there for about 6 paragraphs.
Fixated on Mac.
The macaroni is gross. It's not good macaroni. Anyway.
Is it? Oh yeah, it is, because she makes a comment about bringing her lunch in. So it is cafeteria macaroni.
Yes, is cafeteria macaroni.
Yeah,
that plastic stuff.
Yeah, but here's the thing that I didn't realize. Hey, listeners, if you actually had good cafeteria food, please let us know on Twitter, which I am not calling it by the other name.
Fuck off.
Fuck off, Musk. Yeah, let us know on Twitter, because Rachel actually talked to me about how her cafeteria food was like immaculate in West Virginia. And that is that stands in such stark contrast with, I feel like, the rest of the entire country.
I don't even get cafeteria food.
Definitely with Virginia, because Virginia, oh my God, the pizza squares,
Yep.
those pizza rectangles, those shitty little things. You know, they sell those in stores now. I saw those in Target the other day.
You know what's wild? In college, there is a Papa John's on campus, and they only sold pizza squares.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so imagine the quality of Papa John's, but also in pizza square form.
Oh my God.
It's actually the most disgusting thing I've ever eaten.
It was
the only
vile.
pizza I've ever thrown away.
It was vile. They also sold wings.
God.
So Papa John's is already undercooked, unleavened bread that's basically still dough, and they did it even less cooking.
Bad.
Yeah,
So
it's-
bad.
Oh my God. It's so nasty. And like, yeah, our cafeteria food was just utter ass the entire, like, all my years of being in school. It's just fucking awful.
Carly Beth suggests that she will be a witch for Halloween, but Sabrina notes that that is something Carly Beth is afraid of, which literally who is afraid of witches? They're the coolest thing ever. Witches are so cool, you can't be afraid of them. You have to support them, you know?
Yeah.
We learn that Carly Beth is a huge scaredy cat, and everyone loves to scare her. She screams as someone drops the lunch tray, and then screams again as someone grabs her shoulder. This is that classic Goosebumps moment where a person grabs someone's shoulder.
It's really crazy here because she gets scared, screams because someone drops their tray, and then immediately someone grabs her shoulder and she screams again. Can you imagine being in this cafeteria and just hearing one person scream constantly?
I mean, it's even worse in the show because it's not even like a person dropping a tray. A person walks up to her like slowly like, and just puts like a donut on the table, and she's like,
I'm sorry, I thought the donut was a spider.
Just, I can't. What happened to you, Carly Beth? What?
Someone flicks the lights on.
Let's fucking get into what happened to Carly Beth, because chapter 2 of this book is one of the most egregious things to ever happen in any Goosebumps book. All right,
feel so bad for Carly.
What the fuck? So anyway, remember that hand on the shoulder? It's Steve and his friend Chuck, two actual monsters who devote their lives to the sociopathic goal of tormenting Carly Beth.
Look, I believe that we've said this many times in the course of Goosebumps books that certain characters are just shit.
Yeah.
Chuck and Steve.
Yeah.
The pinnacle of
the worst characters I've ever read in any book. They deserve death. We'll get there. We'll get there.
They deserve to be chewed up and spewed out by monster blood.
Chuck gives Carly Beth his sandwich for reasons that couldn't possibly be good, but she accepted anyway. Which she takes only to discover there is a whole ass fucking worm in it, which she has now bitten into. Chuck and Steve tell her it is a fake worm, but when she goes to pick it up, oops, it isn't. Chuck and Steve should hang from the neck until dead.
Unforgivable.
I was honestly expecting Carly Beth to vomit on them to at least get some kind of like, so they could get some kind of comeuppance. No, it doesn't. Also, Carly Beth, these are your friends?
Like, I've never seen two people who deserve death more than this. Like,
this is so egregious that this must have happened either to Jovial Bob or
he witnessed it.
He must have known somebody who had this happen to them, because if you were trying to defend this creative decision to literally anyone, you'd have to say like, "Oh, this happened to me."
I mean, every person reading this has to think, "Wow, I hope these two characters fucking die." Like,
right.
like they deserve death.
Yeah, hanged from the neck until dead. There is no other option.
The rest of the book is just waiting for their comeuppance.
They didn't. I mean, they deserve more than they got, frankly.
Oh, definitely.
Like
crucifixion.
Yes. Anyway, Carly Beth vows vengeance, which they surely deserve.
Just Chuck and Steve just in a field on the fucking crucifix.
Chuck wept.
Chuck wept.
Except that Carly Beth knows exactly what she does in that sense. Anyway, chapter 3. Carly Beth runs home where she is met by her mother. Her mother is quote, chubby, but it's not a negative thing. So there's that.
Progress.
Her mother has something to show her. It's a head. More specifically, it's Carly Beth's head, made out of plaster of Paris. Carly Beth is a little creeped out by her talented, loving mother. By her talented, loving mother's incredible lifelike art, especially after it appears to smile at her. Unknown if that actually happens or if that's a trick of the light. Unclear. But she compliments her mom nonetheless. Mom informs her that she bought the duck costume she wanted for Halloween, and Carly Beth doubts that a duck is what she needs right now. Also, Carly Beth is so mad at her very thoughtful and loving mother who remembered what she wanted and bought it for her, no questions asked. Anyway, she goes to her room to do the duck costume, wherein she initiates the brother summoning ritual.
God. Did she forget she had a brother?
I don't know.
Like, it makes sense for us as the readers to be like, oh, what's going on? But for her to be scared of that, this girl is just scared of fucking everything. It's incredible. Which, actually, that's something that I actually wanted to talk about. Is this the only Goosebumps book that we've read, at least, where having these cliffhanger jump scare type things actually works? Because
I think yes, actually. Yeah.
I think, reading them in the context of someone who is perpetually scared by fucking everything, it really does make sense that she would be, you would kind of get the reader in that sort of headspace by having jump scares every couple pages, or what the fuck is going on? I don't know. Before, it was bullshit because it was presented as a rack fell, a skeleton fell on me and started attacking me. Oh wait, it was just a fucking hat rack or whatever.
Yeah.
And a black figure attacked me and it was just a cat. Where it's no, she's scared of everything. It would make sense that she would go to the extreme, and think that it's the worst possible thing, that the duck costume turned into a real creature and is now running around her room.
They feel like diegetic jump scares. They're the problem is that the jump scares in previous Goosebumps books have been exclusively for the sake of the reader, and they aren't good, for one thing, so that's a problem. But in this case, they are in-universe actual jump scares that really are happening to this person because she is so scared. So it's fine. It's fine that she's overreacting.
It feels a bit like a happy accident because
kind of. I don't know if it's intentional.
They're a little R.L. Stein backed into this.
Yeah, they're the jumps are definitely less trashy than usual because it's not the skeleton jumped on her. Just kidding, it was her brother. They're pretty much classic Goosebumps grabber moments where someone grabs her from the shoulders and that's the end of the chapter. And this character in particular, that'd be enough to frighten her.
Yeah, it would be enough.
So it just works. I think it's a happy accident. I don't know if the rest of the...
Probably it's a happy accident. You're probably right.
Yeah.
But hey, a happy accident. Everybody's still happy. If they say... Maybe.
They are known for saying that, yes.
If they say that, I don't know. Anyway, the next chapter, whatever that one is, chapter 4. Quack!
Chapter 4. Quack!
Which, by the way, I don't think we've talked about the book on tape, but it's pretty good.
The one that destroyed my TV? Yeah.
Yes, the one that absolutely wrecked your TV. For the listeners who do not know, Mario was in the middle of listening to the book on tape on his brand new Samsung TV, which caused it to die.
Yep. Thank you, R.L. Stein. Thank you for this.
It was just too scaly.
Too scaly.
It's scaly.
Yeah, the best part is, oh man, that just reminded me that I accidentally sat on the remote on Friday night while I was watching a movie with somebody, and it turned on the voice text reading thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it began just narrating everything I did. It was awesome. It was so good. I was like, anyway, movie, sorry.
Menu.
Sorry, please don't be annoyed by me. I'm just a little baby idiot.
Resume watching Suspiria.
Yeah, we were watching, I think it was during Suspiria or The Craft, one of the two. Anyway. In the book's most unnecessary chapter, Carly Beth is attacked by what she believes for one half of a split fucking second is a living duck costume, but it's actually her brother, Noah, age unknown.
The voice acting of which for this part in the book on tape, immaculate.
As she staggered backwards in astonishment, the duck knocked her over and pinned her to the hallway floor. Quack! Quack! The costume has come alive. That was Carly Beth's first frightened thought. Then, she quickly realized the truth. Noah! Get off me! Quack!
I can hear it in my mind, you know? Cleveth learns store-bought costumes are bad as her duck costume begins to immediately fall apart. Sometimes things that are expensive are worse. Sabrina calls her and tells her the science fair is tomorrow, giving me a panic attack.
Oh, God.
Do y'all get that?
Yes.
I feel like I was never prepared for a science fair, even once in my life. Always last minute putting glue sticks on triptychs, you know? So then, hearing that a project is due that you just didn't think about, and it's the next day, and it's a group project, no less, oh my God. The scariest chapter.
That's one of my recurring nightmares. Is waking up and thinking that something is due today, and I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, I think that those serve a function. That's like your subconscious reminding you how important it is not to miss deadlines. And so for the rest of your life is going to spend, 1 out of every 10 days having you have a nightmare about being late for something.
I wish my subconscious would shut the fuck up for once.
Sam, fuck off.
Fuck off.
Get out of here, subconscious.
Anyway, we jump to an entirely unnecessary sequence at the science fair where someone built a working computer.
From scratch.
Huh?
From scratch.
Huh? Excuse me?
Mario,
First
from
of all,
scratch.
yeah, I want to know, Carly Beth and Sabrina's project is balls on string made to look like the solar system. Meanwhile, Martin Goodman, who I presume is also 11 years old, built a fucking computer out of nothing.
I don't even okay, you remember those, what kind of computer is it? Are we talking about building a computer from scratch is one of those things where, do you mean you're just buying pre-built pieces and then assembling everything? And what kind of computer, in this context from back from in the 90s, I would imagine that a computer is I would imagine it's maybe a calculator or something.
Bob, they said from scratch. That means flour, eggs, water.
Yeah, I guess he wouldn't mind his own fucking silicon or something.
Yeah, he's making his own wafers. He's programming his own logic with rocks. He's tricking rocks into thinking by putting electricity into them, which is also homegrown.
True.
Got an electric eel in a tank next to it.
Martin Goodman baked a computer, okay? He got an easy bake computer, put it in there, popped it out, and now he's playing Minecraft.
That's actually where Minecraft came from.
Yeah, he's Notch, actually. A whole bunch of other shit that doesn't matter happens. I'll be honest with you, this chapter, kind of a weak chapter.
Yeah, you got a lot of bum chapters, my friend.
I did. This chapter, I think the rest of the book is propulsive. This chapter feels like R.L. Stine was like, oh, I need another chapter in here.
Yeah, I do like it for one reason that you'll get to, but yeah,
so they are at the science fair, and suddenly someone shouts that a tarantula has escaped. It's definitely real and a threat, and Carly Beth, of course, freaks out, and she freaks out even more when she feels something pinch her leg. Oh my God, is it a tarantula, do you think?
Surely it's the tarantula. No. Tarantulas are known to just bite anything that moves.
Yeah.
They're definitely not scared and will huddle in a corner in the shadows.
Spiders in general definitely don't just want to be left alone, for sure.
Yeah.
They actively hunt children
and bite them.
In a science fair.
The scaredy cat Carly Beth is definitely, she would be on full alert if she was within the same room as a tarantula.
I mean, so would I.
Yes,
no judgment, really. I mean, I would definitely also be like, really? Are you sure
it's totally understandable. And by the way, I just want to really quickly say, if you are afraid of spiders, if you are arachnophobic, I know that it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, immersion therapy is the thing. I don't want to be weird like that, but I just want to say jumping spiders are so fucking cute, and they're amazing and wonderful, and they don't hurt anybody, and they're so cool and chill, and they're just tiny little dogs. And I was watching a video about how a lot of people were like actually becoming acclimated to spiders, even bigger spiders, purely because of jumping spiders and their fucking cuteness. So I don't know, maybe look up a video or a picture of a jumping spider, and maybe it'll help you.
Look at Bob's favorite Pokemon.
Yes,
for a while.
Joltik. He's right behind me. Yeah. He watches over my shoulder all the time now. Actually, I was in a work meeting the other day, and they were like, is that a Pokemon behind you? And I was like, yes, it's Joltik. Anyway, and then I was fired.
Jumping spiders are adorable. They're little puppies.
They are little dogs. And
when they look up at you like, huh? What's that?
They, if you haven't held a jumping spider in your hand and they like look around, they explore, and they look at you, and they tilt their head to the side. It's so fucking cute. Oh God! If you're afraid of spiders and you think you can maybe handle like a little bit, they're so fucking adorable. I was
watching a video on TikTok where a person was handling a black widow spider, and it nestled in the crook between his thumb and his index finger. Which is terrifying.
Right.
But he was like, oh, well, she's really comfortable there because she thinks that she's invisible.
Relatable as fuck.
And I mean, yeah, he was like, this is obviously very scary because I have to get her out of here. But anyway, Chapter 5, the tarantula was not real, would you believe? It was another
shock.
It was another classic Chuck and Steve prank that everyone thought was hilarious, including the teachers.
That's the part that fuck everybody.
Fuck
now.
the world.
Fuck
the
everything.
world.
Bad school.
Burn it all down.
All these people deserve death.
The teachers laughing at her. Before with Chuck and Steve and the rest of the kids in the cafeteria, I can that's
kids. Get it.
That's kids being kids. I get it. The teachers, the fucking teachers.
Also, like to note here that this fun joke destroys their science fair project, right?
Yeah.
So hey,
completely obliterates it.
Hey, Teach, do we get a pass on that because you found it so fucking funny? Like, I hope you don't fail me while laughing at me.
For real, it's so ridiculous. Oh my god.
Carly Beth flees, and again plots her revenge.
Yeah.
Chapter 6. Carly Beth and Sabrina plan Halloween. Apparently, Steve called to apologize, which feels really too little too late on that one. Maybe fucking don't do that, you piece of shit.
Yeah, even Carly Beth calls it out. It's like, well, if he was really sorry, like he wouldn't fucking do that shit.
Yeah. Sabrina suggests the prank was funny.
Sabrina,
it was your project too, you stupid. Ooh, you dummy.
Sabrina, I really need you to be supportive for like 1 second.
I need you to be a fucking friend right now. Like, can I get a road brother here? Like,
part of the horror of Goosebumps, apparently, like a common thread, is friends not being fucking real friends.
Not real friends.
It's just, god damn it, fuck. Anyway,
Carly Beth plans to use her savings, $30, baby.
That's a lot of money in the 90s.
In 93 money?
Yeah.
Let's do a quick calculation on that. I forgot to do this. I was going to do this earlier.
$4,800.
Is $30 in 1993. That would be $63.34. Oh. That's a whole ass video game, brother. That's like
that. Yeah.
Carly Beth.
Well, maybe not now because they're $70
on PC.
Yeah. You get a good Steam sale going. Yeah.
Let's see. Anyway, she's gonna use her savings to buy a mask at the party store, but she was delayed as her mom made her watch her brother after school.
No, you shut the fuck up, Mom.
Anyway, so Carly Beth then leaves, once her mom is home and she cannot have to babysit anymore. She observes all the classic hallmarks of a Halloween night, including a spooky mansion that will not matter at all in the course of this story.
Nope.
Only to arrive at the store and find it closed. I would just like to note how much time and space on a page R.L. Stine devotes to describing the mansion or the haunted house. which is specifically called the Carpenter Mansion, I presume in reference to John Carpenter.
That's fun.
R.L. Stein's interests are very clear.
Yes.
Yeah. I really thought that this was going to somehow come into play in this book. I was like, man, did the TV show like omit this haunted house that is going to be involved in this story? No, it doesn't matter. It's just there. I mean, I guess it's flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of wish Goosebumps would do the more like universe building stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We'll get to that a little bit with the TV version of this, actually, I think. Or my thoughts on things that I think Goosebumps could do better. Anyway, chapter 7, the store is closed, but in a stroke of good luck, a man in a cape lets Carly Beth in anyway. Note to kids at home, men in capes can always be trusted.
Always.
Carly Beth tells him she needs a scary mask, and he makes several awful suggestions. A gorilla. He repeatedly suggests a gorilla, which is not scary. I'm sorry.
He's just afraid of gorillas, that guy.
Maybe he's just afraid. The worst suggestion he makes is what is clearly Spock from Star Trek. Like, that's... Excuse me? She keeps saying scary, and he's like, we have a gorilla. I want a scary mask. We have Spock. I want a scary fucking mask, dude. Like, suggest a skeleton at least. Anyway, he then has to take a call. Carly Beth browses the store and sees several generic and copyrighted characters, including Freddy Krueger and Uncle Fester. But none are sufficiently scary. Finally, she discovers a mysterious back room. I did like seeing some copyright branded characters show up here. I thought it was interesting that Carly Beth would recognize Freddy Krueger, being that she is such a fraidy cat. But then again, I guess he's ubiquitous.
Also, did you notice anything about the word Krueger and whether it was spelled correctly or not?
And it's spelled wrong?
Yeah. You spelled Krueger wrong, which is fine, honestly. Like,
wait,
you get that E floats.
Friday Krieger.
Is it spelled wrong, or is it spelled incorrectly intentionally?
Oh, yeah. That might be it. Yeah.
You remember Frederick Krueger?
Kruger.
From the Bad Dreams on Oak Parkway?
Yes.
Ferd Crudge.
And I believe that the adolescent mutated kung fu frogs were mentioned here.
Yes.
Yes.
We all remember them.
Yes.
Chapter 8. Amazing. 6 dope as fuck masks. Wait, Carly Beth.
For real. Oh, she found these and I'm like, I want to buy
They're all
that
dope.
one.
They
I
are
wanna buy
dope
that
as
one.
fuck. 6 dope as fuck masks await Carly Beth, who is fully leaning into being a fucking freak.
Yeah, there it is.
Get free.
I would like to know. All right. We got 3 fucking freaks in this book. Chuck and Steve are fucking freaks.
Oh, I
right?
thought I was gonna try and get you to say Noah was a fucking freak.
I think Noah is an age undetermined. I don't think you can really be a fucking freak until you get to a certain age where you're like consciously choosing to be that way. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think I've got something for you in maybe a couple chapters that will solidify his freak status.
Okay. I'm willing to consider it. But Carly Beth here, she woke up today and said, I'm a fucking freak.
She chose freak
mode.
She's in that freak flag fly. She's in the freak flag fly. Freak flag fly. Freak flag fly. There we go.
She's going freak mode.
Yeah.
She's going freak mode.
Freak status confirmed.
The masks are grotesque with rotting flesh.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Nails driven through their eyes. Dope as hell.
Hell yeah.
And rats coming out of their heads.
Oh my god.
I mean, yeah. Not as wild, but like pretty good.
Fucking sweet.
Carly Beth settles on the most monstery one, but when she touches it, it cries out, if you can believe that.
You can definitely believe that, yes.
Bob will tell us whether we believe it or not in Chapter 9.
Yeah, Chapter 9. I want to say this is one of the only bullshit cliffhangers in this book, but when you're a constantly terrified child, it kind of makes sense that you'd think a mask is screaming at you instead of a store owner giving you shit for being somewhere you're not supposed to be. Quote, I'm sorry you saw these. The owner apologizes to Carly Beth as he ominously creeps toward her, backing her further into the room and into the display shelves because they're not for sale. The classic horror via misunderstanding. Carly Beth proceeds to beg the owner to buy the Green Goblin mask for an entire page, causing the man to give up out of exhaustion as Carly Beth shoves $30 into his hand. "You'll be sorry," he says, as Carly Beth Naruto runs all the way home, determined to make Noah her first victim.
I would like to say the green goblin mask.
I would like to say the green erase the comma. This is us acting out our Google Docs moment here. Where you are adding a comma and I am erasing that shit because that's what I was referencing before. This mask in the fucking Haunted Mask TV show and on the cover, dead fucking ringer for the Green Goblin mask from the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. I can't unsee it. They're the same fucking thing.
I mean, and
but we call it the Green Googler, though.
Oh yes.
The Green Goblin.
The Green Googler just makes me think of someone just like their skin has been tinted green and they're just on a computer on Google.com.
We're the Green Googler.
I tell you, I bought that candle. I bought that Goblin Goo candle because I did. I did buy that. Yeah.
You bought that?
Yeah.
The one that I thought that you could eat when I first saw it.
Oh yeah, I've got it. It smells like candied apples.
This is the Network Censor. We will not be talking about Goblin Goo.
Thank you very much. We won't.
The goo is unspecified. Maybe he owns it.
Oh my god, maybe. Oh, it's a combination of all goblin goo that could possibly come out of a goblin.
It's a mystery.
Maybe he just owns the goo. It's Goblin's possessive goo. Anyway, what you're telling me is that Carly Beth should at some point have been like, "Together we could rule this city, Catwoman."
Yes, absolutely. Chapter 10. Carly Beth gets home to find Noah listening to, quote, an old heavy metal song in his room as he puts on his Halloween costume, which turns out to be a giant cockroach. Now, Mario.
Okay.
Does that not make this child a freak?
Okay, yes. Children should not. Yes, okay. All right, I'll grant you.
Also, can we talk real quick about what was he listening to? An old heavy metal.
That's cool. He's cool. He's cool.
Is it like Led Zeppelin or something?
Oh, maybe a little Ozzy Osbourne action.
Yeah, maybe something.
Fairies wear flip-flops.
I was going to say, was it Fairies Wear Boots? I bet.
Yeah,
I bet it was Fairies Wear Boots, yeah.
I like flip-flops. So, Carly Beth dons the mask that is haunted, which she describes as tight and feeling warm inside. No comment. She calls out to Noah, and one of the coolest things about this mask is revealed. It's got a voice changer inside. So Carly Beth now sounds, quote, gruff and low, unquote. She completely fucks with Noah, and he basically shits himself screaming for his mom. Carly Beth reveals herself by pointing out to Noah that she hasn't changed her clothes, saying, "Don't you recognize my jeans, my sweater? It's me, you idiot."
You fucking dumbass.
She then attempts to take off the mask, but it won't come off. Chapter 11, the mask comes off with a little bit more effort. Never mind. Noah wants to try on the mask, but Carly Beth's late for trick-or-treating. She goes to her room and brainstorms the rest of her costume.
I'd like to interject something in this chapter.
Go for it.
We'll talk about it now. We'll put a pin in it. We'll bring it up in the show.
Okay.
At this point, Noah mentions that the thing that was scariest about the costume was the voice that Carly Beth was doing.
Yes.
And I think this is a pretty critical element to the story as it is written, is that when Carly Beth has the mask on and is in full fucking freak mode, she is doing a voice that she is not normally capable of doing. Like, we're joking about it being the Batman voice, but to me what that means is like, this is like either not a human sounding voice or the voice of clearly not an 11-year-old girl.
Right. Yes.
I think like what you're probably hearing in your mind is the pretty classic and very, very easy to process like demon voice, where it's the lower pitch and a higher pitched up version at the same time, or 3 pitches.
Yeah, sure.
You all know what that sounds like. And they could have very easily done it in the show, but we'll get to it.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about the book on tape version is that they do what you think should be done here.
Yeah. Before my TV broke, I did notice that.
Noah was standing in front of the mirror, adjusting the 2 long cockroach feelers above his head. "Noah, I'm coming for you," Carly Beth called. To her surprise, her voice came out gruff and low. It wasn't her voice at all. Huh? Startled, Noah spun around. Noah, I've got you.
So yeah, I'll just say that the person who narrated the book on tape, Georgianne Marie, does a fantastic job. Like in a lot of ways, like just does an amazing job with not only with Noah's voice and characters are sounding the way that you would expect, but also with the demon voice that's coming out of the mask. She does a fantastic job. She did a really, really good job, and I wish that they had consulted her for the TV show, but whatever, we'll get to it. Also, another thing that's interesting about that we should maybe point out here is that when Carly Beth has the mask on, her voice is the demon voice.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't have control over it. It's just that how her voice sounds when she talks while wearing the mask.
Right. She's not consciously doing it.
Exactly. And this is represented in the book on tape. We'll talk about the TV show later. Anyway, So chapter 12, grabbing a broom handle, Carly Beth takes the plaster of Paris head her mom made of her and puts it on top of the broom, which is honestly a pretty great idea and makes for a pretty cool costume. Carly Beth looks into a hallway mirror and admires the mask, commenting that it looks like a real face and that her eyes seem to be part of the mask. Boo, she says to herself as she races out the door, and right when she's nearly out the door, her mom wants to see how she looks in her duck costume. Oh no! We're gonna get in trouble, guys.
About to get caught.
We're gonna get caught.
Gonna get caught.
Chapter 13. We don't get caught. Her mom gets a call from her father in Chicago, which I think is the only reference to her father in this entire book. Carly Beth leaves her house and heads to Sabrina's to meet up with her friends. And while she's on her way, she reminisces about the time Chuck and Steve put a rubber rat in her trick-or-treat bag, proving yet again that they're the fucking worst and deserve to die. But Carly Beth knows that, and she's out for revenge. And as she arrives on Sabrina's front stoop, she hears a couple boys approaching. And they're definitely Chuck and Steve. There's no way that they aren't Chuck and Steve. They are described as two boys. Chuck and Steve are two boys. It's Chuck and Steve. Chapter 14, they're not Chuck and Steve, but Carly Beth gives them PTSD regardless. She jumps out of a shrub, and the boys shriek, causing their mom to come up behind them and try to give Carly Beth a stern talking to. Carly Beth isn't having any of her shit and tells her to, quote, "Go away. I'm warning you." The lady is simply appalled at this kid's behavior and wants to talk to her parents. Meanwhile, Carly Beth is literally contemplating murdering her. I can't stress this enough. Carly Beth is going to kill her. Like the way that she is describing her thought process, she is like, I'm going to rip this fucking lady apart. I'm going to rip her apart. And so it's probably a good idea to take a little moment here and kind of highlight the fact that this mask is changing Carly Beth. Like there's some interesting stuff that's going on here because it's simultaneously like cool that she's like sort of allowed to act out sort of her more like darker thoughts but at the same time, it's like you can kind of hear her thought process getting pushed further into her subconscious, and everything that she's doing is like more animalistic, and she's acting out every like primal like urge, you know. It's kind of neat because it's just neat. I like it.
I would say it's more than kind of neat. I'd say this is neat. I'd say this is a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
I'd say this is female empowerment. You don't like where it's going, then get off the train, boys.
Murder is female empowerment.
Hey, listen.
More
the Greeks
specifically,
thought so.
The murder of Chuck and Steve is female empowerment. I will say that.
I think that the murder of Chuck and Steve is justice.
Yes.
Agreed.
If Chuck and Steve got killed in this book, I legitimately wouldn't. That'd be fine. I wouldn't bat an eye. Chapter 15. The two boys convince their mom to leave this unhinged lunatic alone because they'd rather get candy than become dead. Just as Carly Beth becomes fully Joker-fied, thinking to herself, yeah, I'm crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Which is amazing. And I think the show did it, but also the book on tape does it amazing.
Let's go, Mom. Yeah, let's go. She's crazy. Yeah, I'm crazy. 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 Crazy.
Sabrina appears at her door in her Catwoman costume, and things wind down.
Her cat space woman costume.
Cat space woman, yes, the woman who is a cat, yes. See, I did. Was the reference to her being a witch earlier because of Sabrina the Teenage Witch? Had that come out yet, or I'm reading into that probably. So Sabrina's shocked at Carly Beth's head on a stick, saying that it looks real, which has anyone seen Plaster of Paris? It doesn't look real.
Especially in the show.
No.
Exactly. The show is so fucking good. Oh my God. So Sabrina says it looks real. Then she reveals to Carly Beth that Chuck and Steve will be late because they're taking Steve's little sister trick-or-treating. Fucking bullshit. The two girls start down the block, and Sabrina starts quizzing Carly Beth on her mask, asking her where she bought it, if her mom made it, if she got it at the new party store, if she can touch it, what is it made of? Is it made of skin? Is it rubber? Why is it so warm? Is it uncomfortable to wear? Stuff like that. Anyway, Carly Beth responds very normally by screaming at her friend to shut up, shut up, shut up, grabbing her by the throat with both hands as she starts to choke the life out of her.
Fully Joker pilled.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I could say it here. It also fits with the next chapter and also the TV show. So we were talking about giving into animalistic urges, violent impulses and stuff like that. And I want to stress that in this book, as it is written, so it shall be. And as R.L. Stine wrote it, it sure sounds as though this is not a joke. This is Carly Beth actively trying to strangle her friend.
Another thing to highlight, which it kind of changes in a really weird way for the show. But yes, you can tell at the beginning of the next chapter. I make a little joke about it, but in my summary. But no, you can definitely tell that she like is surprised and shocked at what she is doing,
right? And
then tries to be like she plays it off. I actually think that that's something that's said, maybe not verbatim in the book, but she definitely tries to play it off as
yeah.
So anyway, let's just get to it. Chapter 16. Sabrina cries out, and Carly Beth immediately realizes how badly she is just fucked up, falling back on the "it's just a prank, bro" defense. Sabrina lets it slide. It is Halloween after all, the night
just trying to get your friends.
The night where your friends can physically assault you, and it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
The two then go trick-or-treating proper, hitting a few houses and scoring some candy, all while Carly Beth fucks with everyone in sight. They then come to a house where the owner's wife insists that they come inside to show her elderly mother their costumes. And on their way out, they're given 2 green apples. This is absolute bullshit. So Carly Beth,
fuck that.
I'm with Carly Beth right here. Sometimes you gotta, you're bringing out the more animalistic things. This is an animalistic urge I'm cool with. Fuck that shit. So Carly Beth takes both her and Sabrina's apples and beams them at the house.
Yep.
The owner pops. Was that?
Crucify Halloween fruit givers.
Again, This is fine. This is justified in my mind.
Chuck and Steve and Halloween fruit givers and the toothbrush people, all y'all get on the cross.
Yeah, so far nothing is wrong with any of her actions except strangling Sabrina. That's the only one I'm going to say is objectively incorrect.
Yeah.
She strangled Sabrina and in a jokey voice said, "Who did that?"
He knew he went too far, so she said, "Who did that?" And he said, "I was the only one who could pull this mask off. I'm not taking the mask off. I've never stood up for anything in my life. I'm taking a stand now."
I'm standing up for this mask.
Well, it's also Sabrina mentions it later in the book. Some parents don't let their kids eat fruit, anything that's not packaged.
Yeah, Sabrina's parents expressly will not let her eat anything that is not packaged on Halloween.
Yeah, and I think. Well, I don't want to say anything about that because there's a lot of rumors and misinformation about razor blades being in candy and shit like that.
Poisoned candy did happen one time. However,
yes,
it happened.
There was one provable time.
Yes, it happened one provable time because the guy poisoned his own family with it.
Yes.
It wasn't a random person. It was a guy poisoning his family. So
if you want to hear more about that, I recommend the podcast You're Wrong About. There is an episode that specifically talks about Halloween candy, and it's very good. I like that podcast a lot. So anyway, coming back to our podcast, the owner of the house pops his head out and says, "Hey, what's the big idea?" And the kids take off running down the block. Carly Beth suggests splitting up to get more candy, prompting Sabrina to reveal the biggest twist in a Goosebumps book I've ever heard. Quote, "Carly Beth, you don't even like candy."
Shock.
What huh?
I'm shocked that the book just didn't end.
Yeah, I'd agree. That's messed up.
Like, I have no words.
Carly Beth is not a child.
Carly Beth, what is wrong with you?
Carly Beth is the most Christian protagonist we've had in a Goosebumps book so far. So the kids split up and Carly Beth starts straight up stealing candy from other kids, pumping herself up to scare and or kill Chuck and Steve. End of chapter 16. Chapter 17. Oh, well, wouldn't you know? Chuck and Steve are here now.
Surprise.
I think the chapter begins with like 5 minutes later, Chuck and Steve were walking down the road.
We didn't have anything to do in the rest of the book for that point. This is like,
This entire chapter, all 2 pages worth, is just Carly Beth continuing to pump herself up about scaring and or killing Chuck and Steve.
You gotta get,
hey, Mario.
Yeah.
Remember when you said the duck costume chapter was the least important chapter of the book?
Oh.
How does it feel being dead wrong, buddy?
I think the science fair is less important than this. Like, I think that spending time in Carly Beth's headspace is worth it.
Okay. All right. It's so funny to me that it's just like it entirely serves to she's just pumping herself up. She's just like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking do what these guys deserve.
I'm gonna get him.
They're gonna fucking die.
I'm gonna get him.
Brandon, were you saying something?
I was just adding to the chorus of I'm gonna kill him.
Chapter 18. Carly Beth jumps out of a hedge and screams at the top of her lungs, causing the boys to lose their shit, with Chuck grabbing onto Steve's coat, which I thought was a nice little touch. Carly Beth demands their candy, and Chuck asks, "Carly Beth, is that you?" Carly Beth points at the head on her broomstick and says, "That's Carly Beth's head." The boys start to calm down and push back against Carly Beth's demands for their candy, but as she lowers the stick head toward the boys, it starts to blink and says, "Help me," which isn't a fake out and isn't really explored at all throughout the rest of the book. End of chapter 18. So what was that? Like,
so Brandon and I talked about this a bit last night for the show versus book. It mouths the words "help me." It doesn't say it. It just mouths the words.
In the story, in the show, obviously they could not get away with that.
Yeah, I think my mind might have.
In the show, they couldn't do that.
I think it got fucked up on by the book on tape, because in the book on tape, like it.
Well, they're reading it, so it's gonna
exactly. So I think my mind like kind of short circuited on that because she says, "Help me."
You can have it mouth the words if you are reading it.
Yes.
But if someone else is reading it or they're showing it on TV, you really got to say it. I think.
Yeah.
To make it work. But in any case, I don't know what the magic of the head is unclear.
The magic of the head.
The reason why it's confusing is because it says all 3 of them saw the bobbing head form the silent words "help me." And then Steve cries in the next chapter, "It talked." So, yeah.
It is a bit confusing.
It's kind of confusing.
Maybe, who knows? In any case, what the head is doing, unclear. I mean, obviously, we'll get into this. I've got thoughts on the themes of this book a little bit and what they should be. But
yeah, I think I feel the same.
But in any case, I'll let Brandon take us away.
Take us away, Brandon.
Okay. I'll do that. Chapter 19. At the beginning of chapter 19, we are still on the street with Carly Beth and Chuck and Steve. Her head on a stick has mouthed "help me" to Chuck and Steve. "It talked," Steve cries, and Steve and Chuck flee in terror. The wind swirls around Carly Beth as she exults in her newfound power, imagining herself leaping into the sky. She had scared those little bastards completely. Good for her. Still not adequate recompense for the worm, though.
Yeah.
Nope.
Carly Beth briefly reflects on the minor issue that her mannequin head had come to life and begged for help. She decides it probably didn't happen. She reflects with pleasure about how great it was to revenge herself upon the punks that worminated her sandwich. The wind swirls around Carly Beth as she begins to Naruto run across the neighborhood.
Hey,
Bob and
reference,
I.
buddy.
Yeah. I did hear yesterday. Brandon did say there's a big anime energy in this story, and I was like, "What are we talking about?" And now I get it. It's the Naruto run.
She does a ton of running through the neighborhood. She basically never stops running,
and yet
once she gets the mask
she
on.
never uses her Sharingan. So
No, it's ridiculous. Yeah, there's not a single Rasengan in this entire fucking thing.
Water ball!
Kagebuncha no Jutsu. It's fucking bullshit.
So she's crossing lawns. Go ahead.
Suddenly I've got the mental image of fucking Chuck and Steve being burned by that fucking black flame shit.
I'm imagining unleashing the dragon of the darkness flame onto Chuck and Steve. Also, I'll just say this for the kids at home. We're recording this on the day after an auspicious moment in the history of anime. The Year 5 reveal on One Piece, the anime version. Let's all remember this day. It was a momentous occasion. Crunchyroll broke. It broke Crunchyroll.
Definitely not important. The fact that Trump was just
that wasn't yesterday.
There was something that happened yesterday.
Okay, you tell me if it's more important than Luffy going Gear 5. You tell me that.
Nothing's more important.
I mean, listen,
Gear 5, and I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Look, listen, they fucking went so crazy. We'll watch it later. They went fucking crazy. they went buck wild.
All I know. So he's going. What was it? Dragon Ball Z. Going. What was it?
Kaioken times 10.
Super Saiyan?
No, it's
Mad Gears.
one of the last ones because his hair turns white.
What
was it called?
Ultra Instinct.
Ultra Instinct. Yes.
So it's a little different than that, but just the animators were having a fucking blast. They went so wild. Also, the sound effects people put in a ton of old cartoon sound effects. It's really cool. Actually, it's genuinely really cool. It's genuinely quite cool.
That'd be cool if DBZ did the same. That's so cool.
They also put in some old DBZ sound effects.
Oh fuck yeah. Anyway, so now I'm just mentally imagining that Carly Beth opened up the eighth gate, the gate of death.
when Carly Beth took a bite of the what would this be? I guess it would be like the mask fruit.
It'd be the devil face fruit or something.
Yeah, the Carly Beth wrote Chuck and Steve in the what was the name of that fucking
the
anime?
Death Note.
In the Death Note. Yeah,
be like the common no mi.
Hey, careful! The censor's gonna come back. Be careful.
She's got her hand on the button.
Yeah, we're gonna get canceled immediately. You gotta be careful about that.
Okay. I'll try.
By the way, I don't really like One Piece. I'm not really that. I have no idea what's going on, but the live action trailer actually got me kind of interested.
No,
I'm just saying it kind of looks fun.
No,
the censor's about to press the button.
No.
No, the censor just comes into my room with a gun.
Vicious beeping.
Listen,
vicious beeping.
People keep saying they're excited about it, and I don't feel it. I also think a critical element of One Piece that literally comes up in the thing that happened last night is one of those things where if you said this plot point of the series is a major plot point and then said they made a live action one though, I would be the person you told it to be like, what the fuck? Are they trying to do fucking Who Framed Roger Rabbit? What the fuck? You should read One Piece.
Anyway.
That's what I was kind of saying. Is that the live action thing got me kind of interested in maybe reading it or something. I don't know. I'm already doing so many fucking. I'm already doing One Punch Man. I'm already doing My Hero Academia.
We can't have a One Piece podcast. There are already too many of those. There are already too many of those.
I also just finished a recap of all of what was the name of that one? Invincible.
Oh, not an anime. Invincible. Okay.
Not a man. Not well. But yeah, not an anime. More like a traditional.
A Western cartoon adaptation of a comic book, which has a budget actually.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that don't recommend it. It's it's fucking. Oh God.
Well, you don't
Robert
recommend
Kirkman.
Invincible? Yeah, Kirkman's writing is like such. He's so edgy. He's so
but Mario,
edgelord.
we're The Walking Dead. Don't you realize that?
Yeah.
Don't you realize that?
It's so deep.
I hurt my eyes rolling them so hard when I read that. I legitimately quit. Like I was. This is fucking stupid.
Yeah. Anyway, that's anime for you. Going back to Carly Beth, who has just attained the powers of the devil fruit.
Last time on Yurei no Masku.
Well, would it be
too fucking good,
or would it be
goddammit,
like?
man.
I think it would be cursed mask, realistically, right? Like,
I think it would be Ghost Mask.
I think it would be cursed in Chinese. It's cursed mask. I think in one of the countries it is cursed mask. Although this did not get a Japan release, which is fucking wild.
Yeah. I was looking for the cover earlier. It's like, did they just leave it out?
Like, how did this one not get ported over?
Who knows?
Very strange.
Noro Wareta Mask.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking it would be.
You can not mask.
Don't mask this.
Don't mask this.
I'm playing the Neon
don't-
Genesis Evangelion theme right now.
Don't clasp this mask. So Carly Beth begins to Naruto run through the neighborhood. It is anime.
Mm-hmm.
She is crossing lawns, jumping over hedges. 1,000 pumpkin smiles look out from the porches she passes, and twice times 1,000 fresh-cut eyes glare and wink and blink at the feral monster child. She stops as her breath gives out.
Oh, got a guest appearance from Ray Bradbury coming in.
Yeah. little Ray Bradbury, little Ray B. She stops as her breath gives out. As she recovers her breath, a hand grabs her roughly from behind. Classic Goosebumps grabber moment.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 20. It's Sabrina. She scolds Carly Beth, whom she's been looking for hours. They chat about the night. Carly admits scaring a few kids, and Sabrina affirms that the mask is really gross. Sabrina asks if Carly Beth got a lot of candy, and is shocked at the haul. Carly Beth admits that she hit a lot of houses. Sabrina suggests going back to her house and checking out the loot, all in the conspiratorial language of children. Sabrina asks if Carly Beth wants to keep trick-or-treating, which she refuses. The cold night wind nests in each tree, prowls the sidewalks in invisible treads like unseen cats. But Carly Beth doesn't feel cold at all. Sabrina and Carly pass two small children, one of whom gasps at the sight of the mask. Sabrina asks if Carly Beth encountered Chuck and Steve, for whom Sabrina had also been searching all night. Sabrina, just looking for everybody tonight. Carly Beth says she saw the scaredy cats a few minutes ago, that they ran away screaming like babies. Sabrina expresses surprise given how normally they act so tough, and says that the pair were looking for Carly Beth to scare her. No surprise. The pair chat about candy. Sabrina says she wouldn't be allowed to eat anything that isn't wrapped, including the fruit. Along with Chuck and Steve, as we've said before, crucify people giving out fruit for Halloween. It's Halloween, everybody. I doubt anyone listening to this podcast or my cohorts would disagree.
Nope.
No, it's Halloween, everybody.
As established, if you give out fruit for Halloween, straight up the crucifix with you.
You deserve death.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but them's the rules.
That's I hate to tell you that that's just the facts. Like,
that's just morality. We have to uphold some standards in society.
I hate to point out the breaks, but them's them.
Them's is the breaks.
That's those. No fooling. So they reach Sabrina's house and pour out their haul on the living room rug. Carly Beth picks up a jawbreaker from her pile, declaims her hatred of the candy orb, and tosses it into Sabrina's pile. But jawbreakers don't usually come in wrappers. Plot hole ding. Yeah, this is the true work that us media connoisseurs need to be doing, is pointing out every little inconsistency that doesn't make a difference.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Anyone who says otherwise is just jealous.
Ding.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Ding.
Indeed, ding.
I'm going to, before this is all completely done, I'm going to say ding and do the demon vocal processing on it to show how easy it would have been for the show to do it.
Sure.
All right. So Sabrina takes off her mask and mentions that Carly Beth must be boiling under hers. Carly Beth reaches up to tug at the ears, I should say. Ouch, cries Carly Beth. The mask doesn't budge. She tries the top of the head, the cheeks. No good. Sabrina asks what's wrong, and Carly Beth says the mask won't come off. Chapter 21. Sabrina tells Carly Beth to cut it out. Carly Beth reaffirms in a panic that she's serious. The mask is stuck to her skin. Sabrina jokes that they will have to call the fire department. Carly Beth tries with all her strength to pull it off, but it won't budge. She's just going to have to live a really interesting life, I guess. The two keep pulling at the mask without success. Sabrina suggests cutting it off, which Carly Beth vetoes. Sabrina says they'll give one more try before getting out the scissors. Sabrina tries to reach underneath the mask at the neck, but pulls away in horror. There's no bottom to the mask. The mask had become Carly Beth's face. Chapter 22. Carly Beth shouts, "These aren't my eyes! My eyes don't look like that!" inflicting psychic damage on Sabrina. Where am I, Sabrina?
I think this is great, by the way. I think this is amazing.
Yeah.
This part
is great.
Kicks ass.
Yes, this is legitimately, and I've said it before, I think on the first episode of You Can't Scare Me, but this fed into a lifelong fear that I had of putting masks on as a kid, because it like kind of created it, because it was not only just like a gross thing, but also a like, what if I can't get it off? And did you all know that this entire book was inspired by Matthew Stein, R.L. Stein's son, getting a mask stuck on his face?
Well.
Oh, damn.
Well.
Yeah.
Huh. It really just is that simple, huh? Like,
also, if you haven't had, I've had a issue when I was a kid. That's probably another reason why I was afraid of it. Of getting I had a mask that would not come off. It was like, I think sweat had caused it to like suck onto my head, which is one of the things that I had a visceral reaction in the show. We'll get to it. There's a scene where something like happens that implies like a sort of suction like thing to your face. But yeah, no, I had a visceral reaction to that. Like that, trying to pull something off and it just like seemingly tightening its grip on your head is like, oh man, it's fucked up. But yeah, no, it's fantastic.
The network censor is over here with her hand on the button because you said pull something off.
I think the "they're not my eyes" thing is a really it works. I think that works really great.
Yeah,
that's like a creepy, existentially terrifying idea, and I love that.
Yeah, it's honestly it's kind of it kind of reminds me of a depersonalization. It's like when she says "where am I?" It's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, that's heavy. That's fucking heavy.
Yeah. Then there are themes that we're going to get to that kind of bleed out from this sort of notion.
Yeah.
But also, before we go further, I did also want to say that another aspect of this book is based on real life, and that was when R.L. Stein got a duck costume for real when he was a kid.
Amazing.
So
and then he crucified his parents.
Yes, it says Stein's similar event in Stein's childhood, where he opened a gift only to find himself disappointed by the duck costume he found inside.
Take the R.L. Stein challenge.
Get ducked.
Get ducked. A real mother ducker. Anyway, chapter 22. These aren't my eyes. Amazing moment. Where am I, Sabrina? It isn't me in there.
Yeah.
Carly Beth looks at her creepy monster face in the mirror. Wow, Sabrina, that definitely isn't my face. Carly Beth runs into the hallway sobbing as Sabrina calls out to her. Carly Beth runs out into the night without her coat, running aimlessly away from her home. After running some time, a lot of running, Carly encounters some trick-or-treaters. Who are you supposed to be, asks one. Instead of saying words, she growls at them. Rude. Carly then recalls the weird masked man and returns to the Happy Mask Shop, which appears to be closed. Chapter 23. Carly Beth presses her face against the store window and wishes to wake up from this bad dream. The reflection in the window refuses to change. She screams, "No!" and punches the window. Why didn't I just wear the duck costume, she pondered. I don't think that was exactly the decision that led you to this predicament.
Because you could wear the mask and the duck costume, really.
Yeah, it's still available to you. Could be a monster duck. Carly Beth realizes she's going to have to spend the rest of her life scaring people. What a cool fate. The shopkeeper appears. He says he stayed late and expected to see Carly Beth again. Yeah, no shit.
That's what I wrote, the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's like, well, I knew this was going to happen.
That's what he's like.
In the show, it makes more sense. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
But he just sold that mask to Carly Beth.
Yes, I'll just go ahead and say it now. The show version of the shopkeeper is better than the book version. I'm just going to say
there
it
are aspects of the show that are better.
I think
that is one of them.
He is one of the aspects that is improved.
Overall, I think the show is one step forward, two steps back.
I think there are problems in both. There are big problems in the show, but I think if
there are problems in both.
Yeah, if you ported the character of the shopkeeper from the show into the book, it would create a better version of the book.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Carly Beth asks the shopkeeper to help her take the mask off, and the shopkeep says he can't. Well, shit. I guess she's gonna have to do a gainer off the Empire State Building. Chapter 24. Jesus. Carly Beth, freaking out even more, asks what he means as they walk into the back room. The shopkeep says, I can't take it off because it isn't a mask. It's a real face. Carly Beth takes psychic damage, and the other masks seem to glare at their new sister. It is here that Jovial Bob once again begins to flirt with Kingdom Hearts, as the shopkeeper tells Carly Beth that these faces are called the Unloved, with a capital U, and that he created them in a laboratory.
Again,
he tells
better in the show.
The Unloved, the Heartless, the Faceless. He tells Carly Beth that they were once beautiful, but became ugly once he took them out of the lab. He calls them the Unloved because no one would ever want to see them. Occasionally, someone wanders back here and gives the masks a new home. On their face, Carly Beth is now Scary Beth. She utters her catchphrase, which is shouting, "No!" She begins tearing at the mask, trying to take it off. The shopkeeper tells her he is sorry, but that's just her face now. The shopkeeper then says, actually, the mask can be removed. You could have led with that, my dude.
Yeah, right?
For real.
Making a statement that definitely is not a setup for the ending, the shopkeeper tells Carly Beth that if she can manage to get the mask off, it definitely won't come off by the next person who puts it on.
Don't worry about it. There's no way this will ever become a plot point.
Chapter 25. The shopkeeper tells Carly Beth it can only be removed by a symbol of love. I don't understand, says Carly Beth. You have to give me the player's guide. The shopkeeper says, I'm sorry, the dungeon master is mad at me for telling you this much already.
She has to call the Nintendo helpline.
Yeah. Oh, you're supposed to use a symbol of love in Meridia. And that's how you get to Mother Brain. Carly Beth begins fruitlessly screaming at the shopkeeper until she notices that the other masks have begun breathing. The eyes blink, swollen tongues lick at dry lips, dark wounds begin to pulsate. The shopkeeper yells, "Oh no, you've woken them up from their nappy poo! Run!"
The shopkeeper yells, "For 2 play coins, I can give you a hint! Feed me my coin! Feed me my coin!
Feed my coins, Dr. Freeman!
Feed me my coins, Carly Beth!"
Unnamed shopkeep. Chapter 26. The masks train their bulging eyes on Carly Beth. The shopkeeper tells her to run again, but Carly Beth is frozen in terror, or she understands the importance of building dramatic tension. The heads begin to talk in low rumbling voices, murmuring like a chorus of frogs. Up they float, and Carly Beth decides now is the time to run. To her horror, she realizes the floating masks are following her out of the shop, eyes glowing brightly. But they are flying in single line, so there's some order in the chaos. Carly Beth thinks, it's too late for me. Or was it? Now she starts to think about the riddle the shopkeeper presented. What is a symbol of love? Would a kissy do? Or a hug? Could it be that easy?
Haunted Mask wants a kissy. That's all it is. It's what a kissy.
Aww.
I thought this was going to be a story about the power of unrequited love and forgiveness, and that mask was going to get a kissy and fall off like a bunch of butter. But no, that's not where we're going.
Nah, it's not a, what was that, Princess and the Frog situation? Or like,
yeah, something like that. It just turns into a real person that's attached to her face.
Man, I thought they were going somewhere with the unloved thing, but of course, no. In the 90s,
not really.
No, there's no real concept of like how like kind of ableist the whole thing is.
Again,
like,
I think
there's
aspects.
no redemption.
Again, I think the show handles it better on that one.
Yeah, because there's a little change.
There's a
that kind of
there's a narrative here. Versus again, I just think it's like we talked about this, but like R.L. Stine is not an emotional writer.
Right.
R.L. Stine is writing from the perspective of a guy who grew up on like sci-fi monster movies, B-movie stuff, right? This is his vibe, this is what he's into.
Yeah.
And so he's approaching this from that perspective. It would not occur to him to make the masks supernatural in an emotional way or to give them like an emotional connection to something. They're just weird masks I made in a lab. Oops. My spooky mask came to life.
Yeah.
Oopsie doopsie, I made some fucking freaks.
I made living masks. I guess that's on me.
Yeah, I don't think R.L. Stine thought through the implications of the goal being to banish the weirdos to the freak closet.
Yeah, to send them to the fucking freak dimension.
Yeah, I kind of had a little, I recoiled a little bit at the unloved thing, and then there's specifically a line about like, oh yeah, they're deformed. Yeah,
deformed.
Yeah. I was really worried when the mask shop guy he has like stuff on his face, and I was like, oh my god, are we gonna lean more into this? It's not that. It actually isn't like that, but we will talk about it.
Yeah, weirdly enough, R.L. Stine seems to have more compassion for people with physical deformities than fat people
or deaf people.
Oh man, I'm so excited to see how he changes these stories for like the new, like altered versions that he's working on.
Oh yeah.
And to like, remove all of the bad stuff.
Like, get the skung. I mean, he was a product of the time. I mean, like definitely we didn't talk about it before, I don't think, but like punching down on fat people was almost perceived to be like in their interest. It's not. But like this kind of soft ableism, that's just a thing that changes over time. Yeah. And like stuff that he wrote, I'm sure like now he's reading this like, I don't like the way that this is hitting me.
Weirdly and interestingly enough, like he could simply fix it by taking the change that was made for the show and plopping it into the book. Anyway.
Yes.
So Carly Beth is pondering what could possibly be a symbol of love. How could she banish the unloved back to the realm of darkness from Kingdom Hearts? Carly Beth rolls a 20 on her intelligence check and just realizes that the sculpted plaster of Paris head probably counts as a symbol of love, as her mom had said as much out loud. Carly Beth had dropped it somewhere in the neighborhood but can't remember where. She begins running around to find her head, her arms out behind her, running with the wind like Naruto.
Or Boruto.
Or Boruto.
Or
Bort.
Fucking Bort. God damn it.
Eventually she recognizes a hedge, but oh no, the head is gone. Well, I guess it's back to doing gainers off the Empire State Building. Chapter 27. Oh no, there's the head.
Yeah, it's under the under.
Yeah.
Went to the other bush.
I guess the wind blew the plaster of Paris head
That's
away.
some real R.L. Stine writing right there.
That's some skunk.
Like the cliffhanger is, I couldn't find it.
And then the beginning of the next chapter is, I found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little goosebumps.
That classic
skunk.
Jovial Bob action.
Yeah. Maybe the wind moved it there, she thinks. She picks it up and waves it at the spooky floating mass, screaming, "This is a symbol of love! Go away! The DM told me this would work!" This would be a fun time for the residents of this house to look out their front window. The masks laugh, and surround Carly Beth, eager to swallow her up. That's something R.L. Stine says they're going to do. Now, it's not clear if that's actually the case. It's pretty hard to imagine what they were going to actually do, since she already has the mask on. Are they going to, like, go on her more? Are there going to be 5 masks on her head? Are they going to be, like, feeding off her life force? When I was a kid, I thought that was kind of the threat. I made up a much weirder and scarier concept for myself.
For me.
But we don't know.
Just a little treat.
Just for me.
Just a little treat. So that's what's going to happen. The faces are going to come over her face. Mm-hmm. And then Hulk's face is going to make her tear ass through the countryside. Running still like Naruto, I imagine.
Absolutely.
Chapter 28. Carly Beth realizes she's toast. Without thinking, she lowers the sculpted head over her own. To her surprise, it fits over her head like a mask. There are no eye holes, so she can't see out. She begins to wonder what the floating heads will do to her. Will I become one of the unloved now? Do I have to be on a shelf forever? She waits for an attack that never comes. Eventually, she pulls off the sculpted head and realizes the floating heads are gone. For a moment, she sits on the grass, breathing hard. She feels something flap against her neck and realizes she can feel the seam of the mask. She pulls at it, and it comes off easily. "You're just a mask," she cries aloud. "Get wrecked, you shitty mask." Jovial Bob stops in at this point to remind everyone that the mask can only be removed once. Got that? It would be really bad if someone else put it on. Suddenly, Carly Beth felt tired, maybe from spending the last 4 hours running nonstop. She returns home, but stops in her driveway. She wonders if she actually has her old face back. She walks inside to see her brother Noah. Noah begins to scream, "Take off that mask! Take it off! You're so ugly!" Oh no! Chapter 29. Carly Beth says her catchphrase, "No!" She runs to a mirror and sees her face is perfectly normal. Once again, we've been duped by the gooster with an end of chapter fake out. This fake out, by the way, is carried off horribly by the show.
Oh my god. The show fucks
Could
this
not
up
have dropped
so
the ball
bad.
any harder. The devil child Noah begins to laugh at his bon mot. Carly Beth's mom appears and asks where she had been and why did she not wear the duck costume. Carly Beth tells her it's sort of a long story, but actually starts to tell her mom what happened. When Noah bursts back into the room wearing the mask. No!
Carly Beth's gonna sue you.
Yeah, I stole her catchphrase. Now I'm the Joker.
Fully Joker-fied. So the thing that I realized just now that I totally misunderstood is that I thought that the mask could only be removed from once from one person, like sort of. So each time, like each person can only remove it once.
No, I think
it was just. But it's even hackier than that.
Yeah.
I think the mask shop guy was just like, it's every time it's put on somebody, it's less likely to come off. So if you can manage to get it off this time, this is the last one.
The show, he actually asks how many times. In the book, there he's just like, if you do this one time, it'll never come off again, though. So like.
Gotcha.
I feel like I guess you could say there's a counter. Maybe it's 3 times total. A person can only put the mask on 3 times, and the third time it's never coming off.
Yeah.
Like with the weird otherworld pre-dead specter from Ghost Next Door, the rules don't really make that much sense if you examine them very much. Like when you think about how the masks originally came off in the first place, from the guy who himself claims to have never been loved. I don't know what kind of symbol of love he got to do it, or if that even matters. But it's best just not to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah. But even then, if you think about it just a little bit, I mean, it was Carly Beth did take it off totally without anyone's help. It just got a little stuck on her the first time. So I imagine that the first time that whoever put it on, it was pretty easy to take off. But yeah, and maybe it just gets stronger every time. But I don't know.
Well, actually, no. I was confusing it for a moment with the way that the masks are treated in the book versus the show. Because in the book, the guy made them in a lab.
Yeah.
In the show, I think we're meant to assume he wore them for a time.
Yeah.
No, in the show, he specifically says that they're his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So, what we all think of the Haunted Mask?
I like a lot of things about it. I think it's a pretty strong kids horror narrative. I like this, the building doom of the mask getting more and more attached. I think that's a pretty visceral and horrifying thing. There's a couple of good moments, like These Aren't My Eyes. I really like the weird horror where, for a sec, the head on the stick starts to react as though it's Carly Beth, and where she's herself disembodied. She's still Carly Beth in there, but parts of her are outside of her own body. Something taking over you is pretty good. It's actually it's a pretty common horror theme, is something taking over you or replacing you.
Right.
But I think few of those narratives actually get this visceral and screw around as directly with the person who's being taken over. I think that's pretty sharp.
Yeah.
I think that the mechanics of the mask and the kind of D&D lock and key kind of ending are a little unsatisfying, but overall I think it's a pretty good story.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I like so much about this story is the kind of the theme of just the masks that we wear, not to be too literal about it, but just the idea that when you're with people who care about you and who you care about, you're kind of yourself, just that's the person that you are in private is different from the person that you are in public or interfacing. Especially as a kid, it felt like, at least for me, that there were a lot of different personalities that you could be, that you could inhabit in different situations. And it felt, I like the way that this story kind of plays with that, and really kind of allows for a repressed kid like Carly Beth to just sort of like act out and kind of do her own thing and become a completely different person during Halloween, and sort of derive enjoyment on like just being the worst fucking Carly Beth that she can think of, and but also realizing that like, hey, there are some pratfalls involved with that. I like the idea of the book. I like that theme. I like where it went. I do have some problems with the book's version of like the Unloved, which is kind of a little fucked up. But overall, like I honestly, like one of the things I liked the most was the relationship between Carly Beth and her mom. Weirdly enough, like it just seems like nice, and like I wonder what it was like to have good parents who seem to actually give a shit. But yeah, no, it's cool. And I seconding what Brandon was talking about, like the I love the idea of it's really, really scary to think of something, to not realize that something is slowly taking you over and you are changing. And the moment when you realize that you're like slipping down the precipice of change, and then having, being, and then reacting to that and trying to claw back to to normalcy. It's and also the physicality of the mask actually like sticking to your face. The idea whenever she puts on the mask and it feeling warm. Halloween is fun in a lot of different ways, but one of the visceral things that I remember from Halloween is putting on those masks, especially when you're just running around and it's all like steamy and sweaty inside of it. And it's
hard to breathe.
Activity. What was that?
And it's hard to breathe. That's what I remember.
Yeah. There's a lot of talk in the book of her raspy breathing and her hearing herself breathing through the mask. And it's just, it does a really good job of like conjuring those memories for me of just, running around, getting all fucking sweated up. And but yeah, no, it's really knocked it out of the park. It was actually it was a really nice read, and it was great. I had a really great time. Mario, what'd you think?
I really like this book. I think this book is just genuinely good. I think it's better than, I think it's on a different level than most Goosebumps book. I think this is good as a book, completely separate from being a Goosebumps book. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's very good for a Goosebumps book, but I think it's good just as children's literature. I think the mood is great. I think as a Halloween story, it's very fun. I like that it really utilizes Halloween, with and capitalizes on that to tell this story. I like the loss of self as a horror element. I think that's very that's a nice. I want to say maybe more elevated idea than you're kind of used to in Goosebumps. Although there are a couple that kind of broach on it. I like that the way that Carly Beth is kind of like losing herself in these negative emotions and that kind of thing. There's stuff I would change. We can talk about that a little bit with the show, I think. That sort of hit on themes that I don't know that are quite as well captured or as well expressed. But all in all, I think it's super propulsive. I think it doesn't overstay its welcome. It tells exactly the story that it needs to tell, minus like one or two chapters that are kind of superfluous. But like, it was one of those things where I was like, I am really enjoying reading this, rather than in, other cases where it's like, there are more chapters,
Yeah. Yeah. Looking at you, Curse of the Mummy's Tomb.
Yeah.
You fucking piece. And Welcome to Camp Nightmare after a certain point was a fucking slog. But yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Yeah, and listening to the book on tape, which, by the way, just like the other books, the Goosebumps books that we've talked about, this is available for free on Spotify. You could just go and search up R.L. Stine and The Haunted Mask, and you could just listen to it. And I would actually recommend it. It's fun. It's a good time. It's a great. The voice acting's fantastic too. Like it's a really, really good job on that. But yeah. All right. With that said, unless anyone has anything else to talk about, let's talk about the show.
Sure.
All right, let's get into the show.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
The show, overall notes for the show, fucking little goofy, little fucking
yeah.
Goosebumps, more like goof bumps. This is. I just want to really quickly note that this is the first episode of the Goosebumps TV show. This is episode 1 and 2 of season 1. So this, first off, I'm just gonna say it. I have vivid memories of watching this at my grandpa's.
Oh, I've got vivid memories of when I watched this as well. Like I can remember being at my godmother's house watching it at a sleepover.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it, but not a particular place.
It was an event.
Yeah.
Like I remember talking to the kids at school about it. It was really neat, and I have a lot of really great memories of it. Probably the memory that I forgot. How do I want to say this? I'm stumbling over my words because I really want to get to R.L. Stine introducing this fucking episode in one of the craziest ways possible.
Hello, I'm R.L. Stine. I write the Goosebumps book.
The little flicker of a smile.
Hello, I'm R.L. Stine. I write the Goosebumps books. In a few minutes, you're going to see one of my favorite stories come alive.
And the bookend.
The bookend
is so fucking good. But yeah, we're treated to IRL Stine in this at the very beginning. This is R.L. Stine doing what he does all the time in the book on tapes. Every single episode for the book on tape versions of Goosebumps is R.L. Stine going, "Hello, I'm R.L. Stine."
Hello, I'm R.L. Stine. Yeah. It's amazing.
But now he's doing it in real life. There he is. You can see his half-closed eyes. You can see his goofy little face. And he's introducing us to the world of the Haunted Mask and Goosebumps in general. So, yeah, did anyone have anything to say about this part?
I love it. I think about it all the time.
It's so good.
It's very charming.
My favorite part is when he says, "Viewers beware, you're in for a scare."
Yep.
And then he sits down, and then it cuts.
There's one little frame where he tries to smile, and it falls off of his face.
Yeah, it's like instant. You'll blink and you'll miss it. Smile.
I think of the way he says Carly Beth.
Carly Beth.
as if the name Carly Beth is scary.
Oh God. And then the masks that he's next to are all goofy, and oh man, we got to talk about the prop department in this episode. They were I think they were in over their heads.
Yeah. So from the top down, it does help to know that this was the first episode because there's some things about it. I think that the screenwriter did a good job adapting the story. I think that a lot of the masks and props look good. I think that the director and the audio production staff really dropped the ball.
Yes.
Making that child grunt and scream on her own without doing any processing to her voice is probably the worst creative decision in the entire thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean let's just say in general, this is a pretty faithful adaptation of the book. Most events are the same. They drop the science fair completely. No great loss there. Can't say that's a problem,
Nope.
They keep the worm eating. There's a worm in this.
Weirdly enough, they shift it to after they discover the mask store. So the story doesn't start with the worm eating. It's like they're looking for a pumpkin, and Chuck and Steve are sickos. I hope you guys know that Chuck and Steve are sickos.
They most certainly are. Yes.
Absolute sickos. Yes. But
yeah. It was good that they were in the pumpkin patch though, because it's a Halloween episode. You got to set the stage. So I think that was one actually pretty good.
I think that's a good addition. However, it does make you consider this neighborhood just has a pumpkin patch thing in the middle of it that anyone can go to at any time and get free pumpkins. What the fuck?
Also, it just occurs to me that Chuck and Steve are absolutely YouTubers before YouTube.
Yeah.
They would absolutely have a prank YouTube channel.
Yep.
And that their first prank would be filming Carly Beth getting scared to fucking shit, because they actually have a pretty sick scare that they were just lying there waiting for Carly Beth to come over. So they're like, they dug holes for themselves where they have pumpkins on their heads, and they're just laying down in the holes waiting for Carly Beth to come over, at which point they can get up and like chase her and then cause her to fucking lose her mind.
You know, an extremely elaborate and very likely to fail plan. You know, they must have heard her walking towards them and said, "Oh my God, I can't believe that someone would come to this remote patch on tonight of all nights." And it's Carly Beth of all people. This is amazing. This is the best thing that's ever happened to us. We didn't even have to enlist Sabrina to help her come over this way. We didn't hear her drop some hints that she was going to the pumpkin patch later. We just lied out here on the off chance someone would wander in. What a wonderful day. It's a great Halloween. I love Halloween.
It's a great Halloween.
But yeah. Carly Beth gets scared. Sabrina is kind of cool with it.
Yeah.
Chuck and Steve are sickos.
Yep.
And
their costumes are dope.
Their costumes are very good. The shopkeeper gets a front row seat to all of this. It's just, he's just staring out the window, just watching all this happen. And it doesn't come into play later. Like, he doesn't feel sorry for her, I don't think. Like, because of this situation.
It's unclear because he doesn't acknowledge having seen it.
Right.
Because she references it to him later, but he doesn't acknowledge having seen this moment. So ultimately, it doesn't really matter. You know,
if I was like punching this up, like, I would definitely create some connective tissue between that moment and like feeling sorry for Carly Beth and wanting her to get revenge. But like, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, did you all catch the part where Sabrina reveals, or was it Carly Beth? One of them says that Chuck and Steve pretended to be prowlers.
Yes.
To scare Carly Beth.
Yes.
So, they'd be shot if they were alive now and they were kids now. And I'm just pretending to be a burglar. I'm just pretending to be a peeping Tom. It's all a prank. Just, what the fuck, guys? Really?
The ultimate prank would be their funeral.
The ultimate prank. Oh, yeah, right before they get hung. We were just kidding. Also, right after that, quote, Carly Beth, come on. Carly Beth, quote,
yes. Oh my God. Yeah. She has a wild delivery that. Yes.
Don't be mad, Carly Beth. It's just, you're so scareable, that's all. I am not. Come on, that's not fair. Carly Beth, come on. I might be afraid sometimes, but I mean.
Yes. I gotta give credit. I gotta give credit to Carly Beth's actress. I think that she gives a phenomenal performance, particularly because she shouldn't be asked to do the monster voice, because obviously she's not going to be able to do one. But by God, does she ever try her little heart out? I mean, she's doing her level best.
It was unbelievably cruel of the production staff to make her do that because, and this isn't her fault, she sounds like a dog with a cold.
Hey, Noah. Stay away. No. Who are you? Why don't you guess? Mom.
I mean, she's literally like 12 years old. Like, she's just not capable of doing these voices. Like, you know,
no,
she's just, there's no child would be.
Right.
So like forcing her to do this feels so wild to me. But anyway, the next thing that happens is the worm thing. The only difference being that Chuck and Steve show up and slide the worm into Carly Beth's sandwich instead of offering her their sandwich.
Risky.
Which is, I mean, same sequence of events. Carly Beth runs home. Mom shows her the head. The head definitely... does the head smile? Yes.
Yes, it does.
It definitely...
Really
we all see the head smile.
Yes. Also, in the book, it is said multiple times, like, "Oh wow, it looks so realistic. It's so real. It looks just like you." That's what I was referencing before with the prop department.
They did him dirty on that one. They did him dirty on that one.
The show makes her look like a picture of a woman from the Thanksgiving feast.
Yeah.
She looks a little bit like a pilgrim.
Yeah.
And the wooden hair doesn't look her neatly cropped wooden looking yellow hair looks quite bad. It does not look like Carly Beth, we'll say.
No, it does not. She looks like one of those CPR heads.
Yeah.
You got to practice CPR on, but with hair. Anyway.
It is established here that Mom did not buy the duck costume. She made the duck costume.
Yes.
By hand, which explains why it is bad and is actively falling apart. But nevertheless, come on now. Your mom, be nice to that lady.
Yeah.
Couldn't that be the symbol of love?
Also, Carly Beth is not scared of the head when she sees it in the show. In the book, she's like freaked out. In the show, she is like not like excited, but not like weird about it.
Wow, cool head. Where'd you get that?
Yeah. It's like, wow, cool head. It's just kind of a weird, kind of a weird
smashes skateboard.
Minor difference.
Throws phone on the ground.
She goes to the store. That is much the same, with the exception that
wait. You're skipping past some incredible stuff.
Okay,
First off,
okay.
Carly Beth again forgot that she had a brother. Scared of Noah. Noah's introduced. Fuck that guy. But the reason I'm talking about it is because Noah says, quote, "Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha."
Gotcha. Take up that duck costume. It's my costume.
Oh, God, yeah. Ugh.
Mirthlessly, he doesn't smile at all. This little child just says "gotcha, gotcha, gotcha" with his voice only, face betraying no happiness.
It's fucking insane. Noah is fucking insane. Anyway, this Carly Beth is terrorized once more after this, correct?
No.
I can't remember.
No, because we don't have there's no science fair. So no, this is the worm is the second time.
Okay, so Carly Beth so when Carly Beth runs back to her home, she is so devastated from being mocked that she cannot read her magazine or her monthly subscription of Friendship Triangle. I don't know if you saw that. Also, she has a poster on her wall that you can read for like 3 frames before it cuts away, but it's incredible. It's a poster. It's of a toddler with like a T-Rex costume on and with the words Toddlosaurus underneath it.
Holy shit.
It is a giant poster that takes up the majority of one of her walls. Anyway, it's incredible. But yeah, that's when she grabs her money and heads to the store to get her mask.
Yes. The store sequence is relatively similar, except we get to hear the storekeep's conversation on his phone call.
Yes.
Where he's talking about something in Paraguay and customs. He doesn't care about customs.
I don't care about the customs. Something. Let go. I don't care about customs.
Happy in Paraguay.
He does not care about customs. He very vocally does not care about that.
No. I misheard that. I thought he was saying, I don't care about customers.
No, he was talking about customs, like importing from Paraguay.
He was talking about social customs.
I thought it would be weird for him to be complaining about customers when he's got a customer right in front of him.
Yeah.
I don't care about customs. I don't say excuse me when I burp.
I don't flush. I seldom flush.
I'm the type that seldom flushes.
When I need to pee on a podcast, I just let it go. Leave the door wide open.
I'm the type who seldom flushes.
I'm the type that seldom flushes.
So Carly Beth once again finds the room with the masks. Now the masks look different in the show. The masks, 2 of them look straight up like Hellraiser monsters.
Yes.
One is clearly the Chatterer from Hellraiser, no question about it, 100%.
Oh yeah, with the one with like the lips pulled back.
Yep, that's just the Chatterer. They all look less grotesque than they are described in the book. They're still ugly, you know. They're still, you know, not they're not unfrightening masks, but they look more regular human masks, which there probably is a reason for that.
Which is weird because the only one that isn't is the Green Goblin.
It's the Green Goblin mask. Yes.
Yeah.
But they couldn't change that one. Now I will say the masks all look very good. Particularly the haunted mask looks great.
Yes.
Just saying
fantastic.
that. Yeah. Just
Brandon,
saying that.
were you saying something?
I suspect that those 4 masks were probably ones. So my guess is the way that this worked is they were trying to commission some shop that could do the haunted mask justice in the Toronto area. So they needed to commission one original mask at least, but they needed others to fill the role. So they probably just got that shop to say, hey, did you got any other masks that would fit the bill here that maybe aren't too grotesque? And I don't know if they had worked on the Hellraiser or they were doing some knockoff costumes or whatever. But they were like, yeah, check these out. They picked 4, and maybe they even rewrote the masks to have been the shopkeeper's old faces because they look more human. You know what I mean? That seems like that set of decisions seems likely to me.
The other major change here is that she doesn't convince the shopkeeper to give her the mask. She just like takes it and throws the money at him.
That works better, I think.
I think that works better.
I burst out fucking laughing at when she says, "Here's your money," and then throws it at
I think that's a better sequence.
Yeah. I think the show, I think the book was worried about Carly Beth not being likable or worried about her fucking with her, like the empathy of the reader with Carly Beth in order to get her to not just like take the mask and run out. Because honestly, if you're that desperate to scare your friends, like that totally makes sense. The TV show doesn't really care in that moment, but then like kind of, you know, second guesses itself, should we say, later on.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's just like a similar thing is happening where in the book Carly Beth like pressures him and he begins to kind of like give in, but it makes more sense that he's like reluctant in the show, and then once she leaves, he briefly like considers it before she takes it and runs, right? Like when she says like revenge or whatever, and he like pauses and like thinks about it for a minute, and you can see he's like considering it. And then he like recants, and then when she steals it and runs, he just doesn't pursue her,
right?
You know, like, so he accepts it at the end, you know. Anyway, there's more to the guy that we'll get to naturally, but the Halloween part basically plays out nearly exactly the same, minus the fact that they cut the part where the apples get thrown at the house. That part's not in it.
Yeah. I just want to real quick. I totally forgot to read the trivia section for this. I was reading the trivia section for the book, not for the TV show. There's some really interesting shit for the TV show. So here's one. According to R.L. Stine's autobiography, they were going to use a rubber worm in the scene where Carly Beth bites into the sandwich and finds a half-bitten worm, but Catherine Long insisted on eating a real worm to make it realistic.
Good for her.
Damn.
Good for fucking old boy shit. Fucking some old boy.
For
like,
real.
Good for her.
Eat that squid? Was that a squid or octopus?
It was an octopus.
Yeah. On a separate occasion, R.L. Stine suggested that the scene took 12 takes and 12 worms.
Wow.
Yeesh.
Huh.
Fucking good for her.
Also, R.L. Stine makes a brief cameo in the background when the children are trick-or-treating.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I would also like to note that if you click on the characters section of the wiki page for a Haunted Mask, you will see that R.L. Stine is the first listed character, because since he appeared in the show, he is now a character in the Goosebumps universe. Just saying.
And speaking of which, in the mask shop, while Carly Beth is looking for a mask, you can actually see a mask of R.L. Stine.
What? That's awesome.
I need to go back.
I need that mask. I need the mask.
While I was looking up Catherine Short, I've totally forgot to mention this, but you got for all y'all, Are You Afraid of the Dark fans? Catherine Short, who plays I'm sorry, not Catherine Long, who plays Carly Beth, actually shows up.
Wait,
in
hold on.
a Are You Afraid of the Dark episode.
Hold on. Carly Beth is played by Catherine Long, and Sabrina is played by Catherine Short.
Yes, that totally just
what?
And guess what? The Catherines are both spelled the exact same. Kathryn.
Fucking.
Yep.
Also, Noah played Danny in the last episode we watched.
Yes.
Excuse me.
I totally recognized him. Yep. The Are You Afraid of the Dark episode that Catherine Long was in was The Tale of the Walking Shadow.
Okay. Interesting.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Wow, a lot happening here. Catherine Long and Catherine Short is the most insane thing I've ever heard in my entire life. That doesn't even feel real. Let's see. So the Halloween events play out. Any major changes? Carly Beth isn't stealing candy. That's one thing critically.
Yeah, in fact, she eventually loses her bag entirely.
Yeah. She still scares Chuck and Steve in a graveyard, no less.
Also wanted to note that her breathing sounds are actually pretty good.
Again, she's trying really hard. God bless her.
She's trying so hard. And she is running all over the place, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
She is booking it.
Yep.
No Naruto running, but she's booking it.
Also,
wanted to really quickly note that this is probably the most Canadian.
We were talking about
Sorry.
Yeah, a lot of oops and sorries.
It's so good.
Notably, when Sabrina shows up, she is not dressed up as Catwoman. She is just a cat.
Yes.
Because you can't omit or add the space in delivering that line in a show. You can do it in the book, not in the show. So,
yes, I am Cat
Woman. I am Catwoman. So she finds her in the graveyard. She scares them. They say they were scaring her because they liked her. I think that's a new addition.
Yeah, that's a new addition.
I mean, I get it. It's weak, but I get it. I mean, I know what they're saying because, I was a boy.
Yeah.
I was once an 11-year-old boy. So, I get it.
And I was a victim of this where someone is into you, but they just torture you.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I think we all understand the concept that eventually translates into gentle mockery of someone that you're flirting with.
Yes.
But when you're a child, you don't know the difference. The line's not there,
it is a mode of children. Many of children's activities and ways of interacting with each other are bullying, and they don't exactly recognize why they're doing it.
At some point you learn where the line is.
As a kid, you do everything 100%.
Yeah, you don't understand the concept there. It's a little bit more, Yeah. So she scares him. The head talks. We know this. It doesn't look great. The head never looks good. A big thing that I think is better in the show is her decision to bury the head.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say was her decision to do a cartwheel.
No, not saying that's wrong. Her decision to bury the head as her burying her old self. Right?
Yes.
I think that is a good idea, as opposed to just losing it. We still get her going back to Sabrina's. They can't get the mask off. The mask is fused to her skin. All the same. Now, another thing the show does that I think could be better is the part where she's they're not my eyes. The they're not my eyes part doesn't work as well because you can see they clearly are her eyes.
Yeah.
I think they could have easily done that. Either they eventually just shift to being from the perspective of her looking out of the mask, and they could have done that, or had her be looking in a mirror and obscure the face in the mirror,
Yeah, and if you're remaking this, you could also do I don't know, would it be okay for a kid to wear contacts?
You could do contacts, yeah.
You could do contacts, you could do some post effects. Yeah.
I mean, she ate a worm. I think she can probably do contacts.
Yeah, true. But also, there are a couple things that I totally forgot to mention. This is a good point to talk about the fact that the mask at a certain point stops being a mask and is like a prosthetic that they've put on her head.
Yes.
And it's actually really good. It's a really good, well done prosthetic. And the kind of like way that they got away from the mask look is that her eye, they like paint her eyes, like the area around her eyes. So
yes.
Only the whites of her eyes and her pupils are like, untouched. Everything around the eye is like melded into the mask. And it's really well done. And they also do a few things like by putting some some water, like some water vapor. They get it a little wet, and it really kind of makes it look like it's skin. And they did a really, really good job with that. And I wanted to call out the scene where Carly Beth puts on the mask in front of her hallway mirror. And after she puts it on, they do this wonderful effect where it's like they suck the air.
Oh, where it sucks to her head. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes like a cool sound, and it looks amazing.
It does look very good.
Like,
the mask in general looks great in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The prosthetics and like quote unquote creature effects are pretty good.
Yeah.
I think especially they also like, although I think that there are some pretty bad decisions in terms of how they shoot certain scenes. One thing that's good is that they do consistently shoot Carly Beth so that you can see her eyes, because they must have been very proud of that effect, because you can see her eyes right there the entire time. It's never like they're attached to her eyes. You can see how she's reacting.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So so now we can talk about this. So she returns to the mask shop and confronts the store owner. Now I want to stress this part. I think is the best thing the show does.
Yes.
The owner explains that he is himself in some way deformed, that he has a facial deformity or injury or something that he has been using masks to obscure. And indeed, the face that you see him displaying in the show is not his real face.
Right.
But
and he says that, Carly Beth, you cannot see it.
Yeah, you don't want to see this. It's worse to see this. And he says that the masks that he made, these specific masks, were originally beautiful faces that he was using to hide himself, basically. But that because of his inner negativity or his, self-hatred, the darker aspects of himself that he grapples with, they all became deformed. They all became monstrous, including the one that he is currently wearing, which is why he has like a facial scar of some kind.
Yeah.
That no matter what he does, they all become this way. And I think this is a really cool idea. Because it also reflects, of course, and he says as much, it reflects Carly Beth's own self-loathing, right? That, like, she does not like who she is. She doesn't like being afraid of people or afraid of things. She wants to be braver and more exciting than the version of herself that she's been up to this point. And he recognizes that, like, this conflict between who you are and who you want to be, and that's why I think he didn't stop her after she stole it. You know what I mean? I think that sort of implies that he kind of let her go.
Yeah.
And I also think that it makes more sense then that the reason the mask is like so attached to Carly Beth is because no one could conceivably love these ugly, hideous masks, but Carly Beth did, because they reflected something that she wanted, right? And so they've like latched on to that. They've latched on to the idea that Carly Beth would, love them. And that's kind of the critical element here. And I think that's a really cool idea. It's better than them being made in a lab. Put it that way.
Yeah. Well, they are made with beakers full of like green tinted liquid.
True, but I mean, but all masks are made in the lab.
It's true. It's true. The mask lab.
The symbol of love thing is still there.
Yep.
He's still cryptic about that. I think it works a little better in the book, personally. Her like connecting the dots as to what a symbol of love is.
Yeah, I think it works a little better in the book as well, because in the book it like looks exactly like her face, where in the show it's pretty hideous.
I mean, but this is
and the idea of seeing that as a symbol of love. I mean, like I get it.
But this is
just
a good time to talk about this, and we talked about this a bit last night. Was one of the problems or the critiques that I would make of this story is that I think that I understand the idea of the symbol of love and, remembering that people care about you and that positive sort of reinforcement, balancing out these negative self-loathing aspects. But I think that in 2023, if you were writing this book for an adult and maybe not a child, I think the better takeaway, and indeed the thing I would think the the bust of her head would serve as a better marker of, is more of a self-love kind of thing. I think that this shopkeeper talks so much about self-hatred, right, and self-loathing, and we don't even talk about him having like a support network or something, and Carly Beth's problems stem not from the fact that she feels unappreciated by others. I don't think that's the case at all. They stem from the fact that she doesn't like herself, And so I think the critical thing that would be maybe a better lesson is not, people care about you and therefore you shouldn't be mean, right? But rather you should, accept the person that you are and embrace that.
Or just figure out, that the mask is a stand-in for becoming mean in response to bullying, and she should reject becoming that or something.
Yeah.
There could be a different way to do it. Whereas with her, the problem is that she's pretty well loved. She's got good friends.
Yeah.
She has a loving family network. It's a symbol of love. I can just go back home and try a billion things. I don't have a problem with that.
She is very clearly not neglected. Sabrina and her mom both very clearly care about her, and are supporting her.
I think that's one of the things that could be explored a bit, though, is Sabrina's love of her. Because despite the fact that, I have no doubt that she cares about, that they are very close friends and they care about each other. Sabrina does a bunch of shit where, much like we talked about with other Goosebumps characters, just being shitty friends. She does a lot of shit that is it's bordering on becoming like Chuck and Steve. If she's not saying anything against it, she's not pushing back. She's passive.
Yes.
When it comes to a lot of their very mean jokes.
You are right. You are right. She doesn't push back. However, I don't think we spend a lot of time on Carly Beth reacting to that negatively enough. Do you know what I mean? I feel like you need there should be more of her pushing back on that to utilize it that way. I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. You could definitely do that. I just think you need to include more of Carly Beth having that negative reaction.
Yeah, the show does a really good job of it. When she comes back crying in her room and just being utterly devastated about it.
Yeah.
Because it is devastating to have all those people laughing at you.
Yeah.
No one wants that situation to happen. And so, yeah, I think, they could have played that up a bit.
I just think it's with the bust being herself specifically, it feels like she should be it feels more like you should be utilizing this to talk about understanding oneself rather than an external thing. That's sort of my the way I'm reading it. It would work better if we did that.
Or even better if it was highlighting more of the aspect of the masks that you wear, or the person that you try to be when you're around other people.
Yeah.
The idea that you are a different person when you're with your mom versus when you're out in public.
Sure.
And highlighting and trying to because that really is a lot of what it's like to be a teenager personally.
Yeah.
For is just trying to find yourself, trying to find out who you are.
Totally.
and trying to express yourself in an authentic way.
Yeah.
And being a teenager is more about like trying to do that for the first time. And there is an aspect, and I'm hoping that Haunted Mask 2 gets maybe into this a little bit, because for those who don't know, there is a sequel, which I believe I mentioned before, so y'all should know. But I'm interested in that, and like where else this theme can be taken and what they do.
Well, we'll see about that.
The alternative to developing these themes and making something more emotionally resonant would, of course, be to dip even further into the pulp horror stuff and just have it be that she crossed paths with a fucked up mask. Oh no, now she's cursed. What a bad thing to happen.
Yeah.
You could do that too. You could run in the opposite direction.
You could have no themes, or no self-examination. Yeah, totally. Yes, yeah.
You could just be a straight horror narrative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because it feels like Carly Beth has aside from being tormented by bullies, which is a thing most of us have to deal with, she has she has friends and a loving family and such, and it seems like it's actually a pretty reasonable thing for a person to say, like, I don't like this one aspect of myself that makes me really vulnerable to other people, and I just want to harden my skin a little bit. That seems like a totally normal thing for a kid.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, even if she's not like changing herself for the negative. Like, there's all kinds of things that you do to improve yourself or to change an aspect of yourself that's troublesome that aren't necessarily evil. So
yeah,
like a straight horror narrative would have been completely fine. Like, she just says, I'm going to get back at them. I'm going to pull a prank on them, see how they like it. And it's not necessarily evil. She just finds a cursed object and then has to deal with it. That'd be fine too.
Yeah, that'd be perfectly fine. And also, you could do a little bit of both, where you have her finding the cursed object, doing a prank of her own, having it go too far. And that's the other aspect of this that drives me up the wall. Why weren't like Carly, Chuck and Steve, like brought into the like supernatural aspect? They got a little bit of it with the mask.
Well,
but why don't they get the fucking masks put on them?
Oh, Bob, do you want to know what Haunted Mask 2 is about?
No.
Well, you might be
barking up the right tree.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you might be in the neighborhood.
But yeah, okay, cool. Then I'm excited for that one. But yeah, I could see it going both ways. I kind of wanted it to lean a little bit more into the Carrie direction personally, and just have it be like raw fucking like.
Oh, I wanted her to fucking
revenge.
commit murder. I wanted her to I wanted her to brutally murder those kids.
Yeah, dude.
Totally.
She's gonna commit arson.
Because this really does feel like Carrie for kids at a certain point.
A little bit, yeah.
She's gonna do a ghost next door and commit arson on the lovable mailman.
The quote unquote.
The lovable.
So
accidental arson.
Back to the events at hand.
Set your house on fire.
Back to the events at hand. We go dig up the mask. We get chased by the floating mask heads in a fun sequence.
I just want to point out, super uncanny feeling to that scene.
Yeah.
Like the way it mixes the like sort of green screen like comping with the live shots of Carly Beth, the frame rate's like a little bit off.
It scared the shit out of me as a kid, and I think it still looks good.
Yeah, it's pretty effective.
It looks good, and it adds like a like an uncanniness to it.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty cool.
I agree.
I think I liked the otherworldliness of it for one, and I also think that it's like a good threading the needle for kids horror. It's like not so scary that it's gonna keep you up at night. You're not gonna
No, it's just weird.
A mask banging against your door at 3 a.m. or something, but it is unsettling, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good effect.
Yeah. The only thing I would criticize it for is all of the masks are the shopkeeper's voice, and they're constantly saying, "Please, Carly Beth, please. Carly Beth, love us, Carly Beth,
Carly
please."
Yes. I would not have them saying that.
Give us all a kissy.
Give us a kissy. We all want a kissy.
I'm so sad without my kissy.
She goes and gets a mask in a scene that's not as good as the book version, and just holds it up and is like, "Check this shit out. It's a symbol of love, assholes." And they all fuck off.
And then she chases the masks with the mask, and they just immediately dart off. Yeah, it's super good.
Oh shit! No.
So then we get another where they did this fucking show dirty. They did this adaptation dirty because she takes the mask off. She goes home.
Yes.
She comes in the door.
No. You're. I just want to real quick point out. She takes the mask off.
Yeah. And
throws it on the ground.
Yeah.
Then she goes home, and in the next scene, she's holding it.
Oh, okay. Yes. Fair enough.
Just wanted to highlight that.
Fair enough.
Just wanted to highlight that.
So she takes it off, goes home. We can see her normal human face when she walks in the door. Her brother comes around the corner and is like, take that mask off, ah! And she like runs to the mirror like, oh my god, is it still on? No, it's not still on. We can all see that it's not.
We saw.
Come on.
We saw it was your face.
You're on screen right now. Your human face is visible in camera. Like
a complete failure of direction. That should have been a POV shot coming through the front door.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or like also or something. Because like we saw her take it off.
Anything would be better than what they did.
Yeah. Ugh.
You'd have to make that work. You'd have to have made her give a POV shot from the moment she takes the mask off.
Yes,
and that could have worked too.
Could have worked.
You could have played that up.
Yeah,
like she looks down at her own hands holding the mask, and then she goes home, and you just see her from the back or whatever. She walks in the front door. You could have made that work.
Yeah, easily.
But you would have had to do it. You would have had to shoot it that way, and they just said, fuck it."
You could even mimic the jump scares or the cliffhangers from the book and have her perception be that she has like the face on, and so you have for a split second she looks in the mirror and her face is all fucked up with some weird combination of the mask and her face, but then she looks again and it's fine.
Yeah.
And that way, it's like, oh, well, you get the best of both worlds. But nothing. No,
it's just a bad scene. Then we get an amazing sequence where she tells her mom what happened, blah, blah, blah. And Noah's off screen, right? And he's like, do, I'm a dumb kid. And she's like, don't put that mask on, Noah. And he says, quote, I'm not, and then walks immediately out with it on. Like, split second, he walks, like...
Noah, don't put on that mask. Don't worry, I won't.
Two.
Trick or treat!
Also, Noah's catchphrase has changed from gotcha, gotcha, gotcha to I gotcha, I gotcha, I gotcha.
I gotcha, I gotcha, I gotcha.
It's bad. It's a bad...
Oh boy.
Hoo-wee. Then we cut to R.L. Stine again, who says, quote, that wasn't too scary, was it? Let's ask my parents. And we turn to two people who look to be possibly the same age or younger than R.L. Stine.
Yes.
with their hair blown out. And then he puts...
like super gelled.
Yeah, it's been gelled up, yeah.
We cut back to R.L. Stine, who displays a cute little smile, a half smile for a split second.
Goodbye, I'm R.L. Stine.
That was the haunted mask. This mask is haunted.
This mask, it was haunted.
So yeah, that's all we got to say on the haunted mask, unless anyone else has anything else they'd like to talk about.
I was thinking about, well, did you guys think about
Oh yeah, I can see how you could see
Yeah, the it was yeah, I definitely the subtext was there, yeah.
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 I feel like long series of bleeps could have been made better if they had long series of bleeps. But I understand why they had long series of bleeps. I'm not putting that in there. It's too fucking long.
Alas.
Hey, Mario.
Yeah.
I heard you like doing patented reviews of things, especially Goosebumps books.
Oh, you want a patented review? A patented review? All right. Well, you may remember, kids at home, that I have a patented review system that I sometimes remember and sometimes don't. But I seem to remember that there are 3 criteria. 1, scariness. I think this book is very scary. I think this is like top tier scary children's book, in my opinion. Like it's the right kind of scary where like it's not doing something that doesn't exactly work. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it's not biting off more than it can chew. It's operating in really like imaginative ways where you the reader are able to like, you know, put some thoughts on a canvas. You know what I mean? It plays well in the playground of your mind. You know. So I think this is a 10 out of 10. And it's a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Point 2, relatability, aka the teen zone. I mean, I think this is like extremely relatable. I think that it maybe not successfully executes on all its themes, but I think this idea of, you know, wanting to change yourself or being frustrated with aspects of yourself as a kid and indeed as an adult, extremely hella relatable. So I'm gonna say 10 out of 10. Frankly, 10 out of 10. I mean, maybe Carly Beth is a little bit exaggerated for effect, but you know. I think she's relatable. I like her as protagonist. I get it. And then the last point was the Goosebumps factor, aka the Steinness of this book. And frankly, it's like a 2 out of 10. It is not a very Goosebumpy book, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, in the things that we think of as classic Goosebumps hallmarks, right?
Bullshit?
Yeah, bullshit. Bullshit. It's pretty light on bullshit. I mean, there are 2 bad chapters, so we'll go with that. Okay, there's your 2. And I mean, it does have all the cliffhangers of a typical Goosebumps book, or a couple, but they actually work in the narrative, so I can't discredit it for that. I think that I'll give it a 2 for the 2 chapters that are superfluous. And that's my review.
Nice.
It's good. It's a good book. It's like a good dog. It's good.
It's exactly like a good dog. Good job. Good job, R.L. Stein, who is my dog. That's the name of my dog now. I will agree with Mario. 10 out of 10. That's my review. Sticking to it. I did not realize that Ghost Next Door was going to be so good.
Yeah.
That The Haunted Mask was going to be just as good, if not better. So honestly, The Haunted Mask was so good that it might be fucking with my rating system. I might have to like knock everything down by 0.5 or something.
Yeah.
I think I like Haunted Mask more than Ghost Next Door.
I do like it more than Ghost Next Door. Yes.
I'm both equally
I'm just glad
good
to know the
Goosebumps
book that I thought was great is great.
Oh yeah. Like I'm super satisfied with the fact that the Goosebumps book, the quintessential Goosebumps book is actually fucking good. Like, I'm super happy with that.
Brandon, what did you think?
My review, my patented review system is
we've got 2 patented review systems.
Yeah, from the kid's perspective and the adult's perspective. I'll start with the adult's perspective.
I'm going to put that. I'm actually going to put that in the format. I'm gonna say
Next 2 patented reviews.
Yeah.
So from the adult's perspective, I think it scores a little worse, mostly because while I like many aspects of it still, and I think like the horror elements are great. I love the These Aren't My Eyes. That rules.
Yeah, dope as hell.
The everything about the cursed object is cool. We love masks not coming off of people. We love becoming something you're not. I especially love the weird horror of the bust becoming her somehow.
Yeah.
That like part of her is occupying an inanimate object that she can see and how fucked up that would be for everybody.
Yeah.
I think that's all very effective. I think that it's kind of trapped between 2 places where R.L. Stein wants to write like goopy Gus horror stories and doesn't really want to think that much about the emotional aspects of it, but felt compelled to include them, and it doesn't really carry itself all where it needs to get, I think, both in the video and the written story. But I think overall it can be forgiven, and especially compared to like the other Goosebumps stories we've read, it is really well put together. And for the kids aspect, I'd give it a 5 out of 5. I think it's yeah. Like that stuff kind of slides off your brain when you're a kid anyway. I definitely remember feeling like I didn't really understand what was happening with it, but it didn't matter because the spooky stuff is good. It doesn't waste your time much. There is a lot of the patented Goosebumps running from point A to point B, but since it's Halloween and she's wearing a mask and she's generally like scaring people en route, that feels pretty right. Also, Halloween story.
Yeah,
we all
you got to give it points
stuff.
for being a Halloween story. You definitely got to give it points for that.
It's a traditional horror setting, traditional horror nonsense, cursed object, creepy shopkeeper, all good things.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And with that, let's go ahead and, hey, everybody listening to this. I hope you're having a great day. I hope everything's going well with you. Just wanted to let you know, we have a Patreon and that's how we kind of keep things paid for, get, various new things if we need them, all that good stuff. So if you want to become a patron and just say thanks, you don't have to, but if you want to, it's patreon.com/youcan'tscareme. And to keep up with all of our latest goings-ons, we are on Twitter at YCSM Pod.
For as long as it lasts.
As long as it lasts. I'm already on Blue Sky. I think Mario's on there too.
Yeah, we're all on there, actually.
Yeah. Oh, we're all on there. Right. Yeah, we're all on there. So I think the next invite I'm going to give to myself that I get.
Actually, I've got a spare invite. I could do that right now if you want.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I think I've got a spare one.
Yeah, hell yeah, I do YCS. Should it be youcan'tscare.me or should it be YCSMpod.com? Because both of those websites are ours, and you can go to them. And
here's what I'll do. I'll send the code to you, Bob, and I'll let you figure that
out. Okay, that works. So I guess we're on Blue Sky now. We'll see whatever that is. But I just wanted to really quickly note that youcan'tscareme.com is not us. And if you go there, you will see that it is not us and that it is someone who is going to get in trouble with Konami because they are 6th Street Massacre Haunted House, the Chainsaw Massacre, Summer of Blood. It's a haunted house that is using Pyramid Head as their mascot.
Oh, my.
And a Silent Hill nurse as another mascot. No, not us. That's not us. So yeah, only visit the official URLs for You Can't Scare Me, youcan'tscare.me and YCSMpod.com. And yeah, so that's all for the plugs. Did we want to talk about the next book?
We're not predicting the twist, correct?
We are not predicting. So that's another thing that I wanted to. We're changing up our format just a little bit, y'all. We're not going to do predict the twist from now on, just because it's kind of it's kind of weird because it never really like worked out too well. It doesn't serve as it didn't really accomplish the goals that we wanted it to do. And it's awkward, to, especially when we kind of know what the book is to ask, especially guests like, hey, what's going on here? It's just, I don't know.
I'll just go ahead and tell you that the next book is Be Careful What You Wish For, which it has a bad cover and for one thing, and which we'll describe next time, and has an episode that I remember vividly because I watched it in college.
Nice.
And I don't know that I can say that it's good exactly. Also, it has a bad cover and a bad Tim Jacobus cover as well. So
yeah, I was gonna say, like, this is probably the only Goosebumps book, I don't know, there might be more, where the later Brandon Dorman covers
is actually better in my opinion.
Actually be better.
But we'll talk about that.
Also, I think Tim Jacobus did 2 covers for Be Careful What You Wish For.
He may have.
Yeah, I'm looking at 2 and they're both, the first one it's literally just a girl with blonde hair.
No, that's not Tim Jacobus. That's not Tim Jacobus.
Oh, right. That's Stanislaw.
That was drawn by a different person.
Yeah, that's Stanislaw Fernandez. So I always thought that was Tim Jacobus for some reason. But yeah, it's terrible. Also, the Tim Jacobus cover that I'm looking at now is not so good either. It's pretty
No,
shit.
It's not great.
It's too busy. That one is a witchy looking lady holding a piss yellow Dragon Ball without the star in it, kind of looking toward the viewer like expectantly. I don't know. Oh, I like the Fernandez cover better in that way because it's like there's something to laugh at here because the girl is looking at the cracked crystal ball like it farted, like it's letting out fart gas and she can smell it and she's like visibly recoiling from it. It's kind of fucking weird.
Also, her facial features don't look like they fit on her face. They look like they were added after the face was painted.
Yeah. Her left eye is fucked up.
She's got a weird face. She got a weird face,
y'all. Also, is this the first or maybe even only Goosebumps book where the tagline finishes the title?
Ooh, it might.
Because
this is certainly the first Goosebumps cover that has an ellipses at the end of it.
Yeah. So the name of it is "Be careful what you wish for." ... And then the tagline is "It might come true."
I guess that's spooky.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, the Brandon Dorman cover does not have the ... So it's just "Be careful what you wish for." Period. Well, there's no period, but it's just the end. It also doesn't have the tagline. So there you go. All right. So do we want to go and beat the shit out of Chuck and Steve?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's fucking pound them.
All right, let me get my bat.
It's time to murder.
Did one of you have the crucifix?
Shit. Oh God. Well, we can go to Lowe's.
Yeah, they probably have those.
Yeah. Now
Michael's has some, I'm sure.
It's pretty easy to make one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not Easter. Michael's not going to have them. It's not Easter yet.
Well, Hobby Lobby certainly will.
Hi, this is Hobby Lobby. How can I help you?
Hey, I was looking on your website and I wasn't able to find something. Can you check your inventory for? I'm looking for a crucifix.
You're looking for a crucifix?
Yeah. Like, actually, I want 2 crucifixes. How do you say that's the plural of that? I'm just kidding. That's a little joke. Yeah, 2 child-sized crucifixes.
2 child-sized. Let me talk to someone.
Yeah, and for that person, could you also ask them if there's any kind of like spray or like some laminate that we can put on it to prevent like the kid blood from like seeping in? We want it to like kind of use it as like a ward to like, ward off, any other kids who are just like little fucking shits, like those little motherfuckers. We want to just like keep them the fuck.
Goodbye.